And all right, welcome back to the podcast. We got guests in the crypt tonight. Fucking, we got some guys from Recorruptor here. Some more guys from Recorruptor. We've had mine. Yeah, I was gonna say there's still one wild card.
Josh will probably never make it out here.
Same with Balgraith though. I still have never had Julian on.
Oh, bitch.
I think that's it. Yeah, Mike's been on. Chase has been on. Aaron, yeah. So Julian's the only one that hasn't been on.
Motherfucker.
But yeah, you guys want to introduce yourselves and let them know what you do in Balgraith?
Oh fuck, I gotta start.
In Recorruptor, you mean?
But sorry, oh my god, sorry.
My name is Alex DeRose, and I scream a lot.
His name is my name too. Yeah. Yeah. No one cares, but bass, Alex, the ginger guy. If you don't know my name, you know, that guy.
Slooping the boost.
I'm Seth. I also play in Recorruptor. I play guitar.
Hell yeah.
Really
Hell
good.
yeah. So, all right, I guess we'll start with Alex. So, something I asked the other guys when they were on, and it's something I kind of like to ask everybody, honestly, is like, how'd you, 9 out of 10 people never get into heavy metal. So, how'd you get there? How'd you get your way into music?
If you're going like very, very beginnings.
Yeah.
Mostly my dad, like back when I was little, you know, just a little guy, he'd be.
Don't be afraid to fucking swallow this thing.
Yeah,
just get way up in there. Hello,
that motherfucker.
Yeah, no, fucking Slayer shirt you're wearing. What you know? I mean, look, he's like, hey, check this shit out. Check this shit out. My dad is the source of one, why I play bass, then two, why I know the music I know. I started on like Led Zeppelin, Van
Hell
Halen,
yes,
and I still have a love for old classic rock and shit. But you know, he'd lend me like Anthrax CDs, that kind of thing. Or he'd play them in the car between like school, that kind of shit. And, you know, little 5-year-old me be headbanging and shit.
Yes.
As fuck. So early on, man, I got an appreciation for heavy metal and shit. I always thought it was really fucking cool.
So you're into metal from very young then. Very young.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. That is so like what you said you like. See, that's kind of my thing too, is I didn't get into it until I was probably more like 10, in between like 10 and 13, but I started with the older stuff.
Right.
Like my uncle got me into like Pantera, Rage, Megadeth, Metallica, AC/DC, Guns, Iron Maiden, Sabbath, Zeppelin, obviously, Gwar, lots of Gwar. He loved Gwar. And yeah, so I fucking, the old guard is fucking strong with me. I love the old stuff. Yeah.
What, Recorruptor, any metal band
at
the past 30, 40, whatever years does.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So what about, and then, so how do you start, then how do you get into bass? Did you fuck around with other instruments? Did you just start with that?
I on and off, like, I think like on a whim when I was little. To go, but like before me, my family's musical, my dad's family. So like my late grandpa, a late uncle, my dad, other uncles, they'd have a family band and they'd play like old country and old rock and roll and shit. Like, Hank Williams Jr., Senior, that kind of shit. And I always thought, it was cool. It was really cool. So, I'd get up there and I'd dance around again, even when I was a little baby. Like I've always apparently just loved any kind of music. It wasn't until I was like, I don't know, 16 or so.
Nice.
When my dad one day threw the bass guitar, I'd played piano off and on for years. Like I got like a Christmas present.
Oh hell yeah!
When I was younger, and I'd sit there and I'd just dink around on it for hours. And one day he goes, "Hey, you think that's cool? Come check this out." He gave me a
fucking just. You think this is cool? Check out some of this shit. He puts on some Slayer. Like, all right,
you like Mary Had a Little Lamb? Here's Rain and Blood.
Come on, pussy.
So one day he goes, "Hey, check this out," and he gives me one of his guitars, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." So I'd go over there and I'd take it for a few hours and learn, and just fell in love with playing. Funny enough, I learned bass first. I play guitar as well, just like to bullshit around at home kind of thing. Yeah. But bass is my number one.
Hell yeah.
He gave it to me and it just kind of clicked.
Who's your favorite bassist?
Don't give me that option. I'll give you
James Hetfield.
Yeah, give me like 3.
I'll give you 3. Yeah, James Hetfield.
Yeah, James Hetfield.
Yeah, fuck any bass player of Metallica. No. My top 3 are probably my number one bass player that I look at. Well, my dad. So, you know.
Hell yeah.
Like famous bass players, the other two, John Paul Jones from Zeppelin
Okay.
is my all-time favorite bassist, just because the way he plays, he knows how to hold back in the pocket or just get stupid when they'd have to.
Yeah.
And then Alex Webster, because he's the best bass player alive.
Fuck yeah. I mean, yeah, he's gnarly. Watching him live is,
Very impressive.
All fingers everywhere,
Very
all the
impressive.
time.
Not only in like Cannibal, but in like Blotted Science and then the work that he did in like Hate Eternal and shit.
Yes.
It's very solid bass.
Conquering Dystopia.
The Conquering
when he did
Dystopia
that
too.
with,
Yep. Jeff Loomis and
Jeff
Keith
Loomis.
Merrill.
Oh shit! I don't think I heard about that.
Yeah,
Haven't heard
they
that?
only did
No.
one album, I believe, and they went on a tour. I guess it was a
They did,
while
like-
ago with Animals as leaders.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy.
Like,
I actually wish I went to that. I really do.
really
I'd-
progressive. They're-
Shred.
They're like that blur between like really heavy metalcore, but really like technically put together death metal.
Well, I
So
mean,
they-
you got like Jeff Loomis from like Nevermore, and then
Yeah.
you got just Keith Merrill
Keith
from
Merrill
fucking
is
everything.
literally
So-
a self-made man.
And
yeah.
so that's a
That's
great.
fucking. I'm surprised you didn't say Steve Harris.
Yeah. You gotta love Steve Harris
Solid
because it's just the
bassist.
gallop,
boy.
the three-finger thing. Uh-huh.
So good.
I don't know why everybody avoids the gallop nowadays. I fucking miss that shit.
I try to do that here and there.
Nah.
Try,
Not
but
not
it's-
everybody.
But it's
not
not
everybody.
It's not prevalent.
He's only
Like,
talking
Right.
about you, Alex. You fucking need to start galloping.
do it now.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
I
like a
love it.
lost art form.
Kind of. There's this one band though that I fucking am in love with. They're called Savages. They're out of Brazil, and they only ever released one album, and it's
That's how
like
all the good bands fucking
yeah,
do it. One or two albums, then they're done.
Yeah, they're fucking. But they fucking have like they're like you can hear Heavy Maiden. I would say Heavy Maiden influence,
Okay.
Heavy Soul or Sepultura influence,
All right.
which you can hear Heavy Maiden influence in.
Right,
And then Arch Enemy, like very Arch Enemy,
interesting.
Swedish style guitar
So,
almost.
That's
so
badass.
very
Yeah.
melodic in a sense.
Very
then.
melodic, but lots of fucking gallops and headbanging.
like it.
Oh, it's so good.
Check it out.
Cool. It's cool.
Hell yeah. No, yeah. Webster Live though, like there are certain fucking guys that you watch and you're just like, I'm seeing something crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like I got really lucky. I didn't know back then, but I was crazy lucky and saw the a Heaven and Hell tour. So it was Dio with
yeah,
Sabbath.
Damn.
And then
That's pretty
opening
legendary
was
shit.
Machine Head and Megadeth.
That's
And
interesting.
then I was on fucking Iomi's side of the stage and watching
Oh,
him
yeah.
play, I was like, this is different. Like this
Yeah.
is another thing. And I kind of feel the same way when I'm watching Webster and guys
I
like
mean-
that. Like it's just something.
And a lot of like death metal bands like that, you almost can be like, oh, they're not moving around a whole lot, but
That shit's hard.
But with Cannibal Corpse, one, they can't. Two, the level of technicality,
Yeah.
like you watch.
You're watching their fingers more than their bodies.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's-
watch Rob
that's-
Barrett do his
Yes.
just rhythm stuff, man, and he's just everywhere.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I saw Origin at Max Bar down here.
Yeah, Paul
and
is
just
the-
like
is a
I was just
god.
looking up, I was like, wow.
Mike Flores is not a man;
crazy.
he is a machine.
And well, let's be real. What Corpse Grinder does physically is enough for everybody
Oh,
on
it
the
is,
stage
it is.
because it's more than 90%.
I think that's
of
all he
bands.
can physically do.
Well, yeah, like that's his. He's got
I mean,
one move.
You
but
got a
he's
mile wide
got
neck,
it.
and that's
yeah,
all you
that's
need.
all he needs.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all he
all
needs.
he needs. I love it when he challenges. He's like, you cannot
yeah.
keep up with me. He's like, he's
My
right.
neck hurts watching
He's-
him.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember
It's
seeing about the
incredible.
pyramid scheme over in GR, and it was cool. It's a cattle decap in
Oh
in
my
Cannibal,
God.
and super small venue, but
Tiny. Yeah, go.
George was just like, well, this dude yelled out and was like, "I'm your son," and he's like, "You kind of look like me, but let's see if you can fucking do this like me." And then he's like, he fucking challenged him to windmill the whole damn time,
Yeah.
and in the middle of their song, like during a break, he's like, "That's pretty good, not as good as fucking this," and just keeps on going for it. I was like, legit, it's cool how he can interact with the crowd like that.
Dude,
He's
he's
good.
got such an energy. I saw him, weirdly enough, I forget what the festival was called, but like
Mayhem?
Disrespectful Cannibal Corpse was playing DTE, the parking lot.
Mayhem.
And Korn,
Yeah.
and Korn headline. I mean, Korn was cool to see, but
Oh, I remember.
yeah, it was
I remember that.
2013 and
Yeah,
2014.
yeah,
that was
yeah,
like
I
the
went to that.
first time I saw Cannibal Corpse.
That was
and I
probably like around the last Mayhem days too.
Yeah.
15, I believe, was the last.
It was. I
Mayhem.
think it was 2014. He's on stage and they opened up with whatever, and he stops and he goes, all right, all of you, you need to walk away from your girlfriends. They don't want to pay attention to you. They're here for me. And he's just like, all right, this song is just the funniest damn. He's got such an energy.
He's on another level, and it's fucking. I mean, you know, he's the everything you want. It's everything you want when you go to see the death metal show. So it's fucking absolutely one of the best frontmen.
Right.
And yeah, I remember because like there was like a couple years where I didn't go to very many shows and stuff like that, and I got. Yeah, it was really. I was lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all good. We all get there.
But then like I really got back into everything, started going to everything, and that's when I saw the Centuries of Torment DVD for the first time. And fucking so I went to Cannibal's site. I was like, when are they coming? I gotta see them immediately. And hello, Kitty. And they have all their past tour dates, a lot of their past tour dates on their site. And I was like, oh, they've been in Michigan every November for like the past 5. They're like a yearly thing in November now.
Are.
I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
It's you know, and that it's cool. You know, a lot of bands like they know the energy we have here. You know.
Yeah.
I always sound conceited when I say the Michigan scene is unlike anything else or anybody does, but man,
you know,
it's cool to see when national bands get excited to be in Detroit or
Yes. Did you spend all your life in Michigan?
Yeah, I'm from basically the area. So
mid-Michigan. All right.
Basically the area. That's a good town.
All right.
Yeah, I'm from basically the area, Michigan.
There's a lot of those in Michigan.
I've popped around. I was born in Charlotte. I've been dancing for years. So
hell yeah. All right. Well, fucking Yusa.
Misa.
How did you get into heavy metal?
Well, I don't know, man. It was kind of like influences from all around, really. I mean, I was raised with like some classic rock stuff because that's what my mom really enjoyed, and so she showed me a lot of that. She had like some old Motley Crue albums, and I guess not like it might be considered classic rock nowadays, but back in her day, you know, it was
Motley Crue was heavy fucking metal.
And like, well, and she was really into Maiden and all that too.
Yes.
She's seen them before, and she's seen quite a few bands like Ozzy quite a few times. She's seen. She's seen Boston Quiet Riot, you know, all that shit.
Boston is the shit.
When did she see Quiet Riot?
She saw Quiet Riot. If you look this up on Google, I think it was in Kalamazoo, but there was this giant fest that took place, I think, in the 80s.
I know what you're talking about.
And she was part of that. She was in it. Like she went to that. She told me those stories. She was like, her friend took the RV that they had and later then lost her job because she skipped work to go to that. And yeah, they all like parked up on top of the hill and just drank and like fucking watched like Motley Crue, Quiet Riot, like all these bands.
I think I don't know how much I know, but all I think I know about that is I believe there's a poster in FBC. In downtown East Lansing. I think there's a poster for that in Flat Black and Circular. You guys know that store?
Yeah.
It's like one of the last fucking CD stores ever.
The only one.
Yeah, pretty much.
That doesn't sell bullshit vinyl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They fucking they got a bunch of old. They got a poster from when fucking like Slayer played somewhere near Lansing and Kiss. And stuff. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I think there's a Quiet Riot one.
Some crazy shit actually about like weird, like, you know, giant acts playing in like small ass towns. And I mean, I guess Kalamazoo and Lansing would be considered small. To some people would be from like, you know,
it's small.
Not to me, but
it's a small, big city.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
No, actually, a long time ago, you know, I was born in Hastings, raised in Nashville, pretty much. Nashville, Michigan.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay.
I know, super small town. Nobody's ever heard of it, but except I know, fuck off.
I got family there.
But I guess like big acts like Johnny Cash has played in Nashville before, and like one of the old places that they had there, it was like an outside venue. And Cash played there, and like a whole bunch of like I think Hank Williams Jr. played there.
Oh wow!
Damn,
that's wild.
Man, it's almost
it was crazy, but yeah. So it's just, you know.
So your mom was in. So like his parents, your mom was into fucking.
She was, yeah. And I mean, so I got like a little bit of that. So like I listened to you know, I was starting off with the big thrash bands, whatever. Like, after I just kind of took my own reins and all that, I was listening to like Metallica and, you know, Megadeth or whatever. And, you know, when I was younger, my mom was against like Slayer, but I think that's just because of the messages that they had in the music. And she didn't want me to hear them. She didn't mind them as much, but she didn't want me to hear them. And then Clinton and I got together and started hanging out a lot more. And he was like, "Dude, you gotta check this fucking song out." And he fucking showed me Slayer of Death. And Slayer of Death, Angel of Death, Slayer of Death. Yeah, he showed me Angel of Death and that dual guitar lead. That's just a bunch of punk slop, and there was so good and really got me. And I was like, damn. So it was definitely a mixture of my mom starting off, Clint, and then actually my older brother Austin. He got me into like power metal shit. Like,
yes,
man, actually my first concert was Camelot and Ed Guy.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was my first concert. I was like 15. We went to a little place in like La Grange, Indiana.
Yep, I know that.
Yeah, and Austin's like, "Hey man, you wanna go see Camelot?" I was like, I don't really know the music too well. Now I'm actually more of a fan of Ed Guy because they were very Iron Maiden-y kind of influenced, and so I was like, this is cool. So I'm gonna go see them. And yeah, Ed Guy was fucking badass. And then Camelot came on, and I was like, this is a production.
Yeah,
this is really good.
Yeah.
So that
I love power
that
metal.
really got it right. It's great. It's great shit, and that's how it got me into like Blind Guardian, which then I saw later.
Oh wow!
And like Holy Grail and all that. And then I saw them with Blind Guardian.
Oh shit!
So that got me into like kind of like the more like melodic stuff, which got me to like mellow doom, mellow death kind of shit, like Swallow the Sun and Draconian and whatnot. Very cool shit. But yeah, so it was the bigger influences was definitely my mom, brother, and then Clint, I guess, because he just showed me like a whole bunch of cool shit, and I was like, wow, this is like really insane. Like he showed me like a lot of Pantera stuff.
Yes.
I was like, dude, this is sick.
Oh man,
showed me some Lamb of God stuff.
Yep. Dude, fucking Pantera was in middle school every day on the way to and from the bus. Fucking, and then I remember the first time my cousin showed me Lamb of God. My question was, who are their singers? I thought that sound couldn't come out of one person because I knew like I'd already listened to some like 3 Inches of Blood stuff like that. I knew they had 2 singers, so I was like, maybe they do 2. Nope, it's just one god.
Yeah, he's very good.
So good.
Yeah, it's crazy like when you first hear the bands that like have like a lot of screaming in it and shit like that, and you know that's like. Some of the first bands I heard that had that in there was like Bullet from Valentine and some of that like
things that
fucking
people would
shitty
refer
shit.
to as screamo.
Yeah, and like some Slipknot stuff. I was like, you know, me being like a little weenie, I was like, you know, just wish there wasn't so much screaming,
dude. Oh yeah,
I think,
and then I was like, fuck it, let him do it.
I think any self-respecting metalhead and like nowadays that's into the more extreme shit started to like, this is awful, and then you're like, well, I only listen to ambient post. You know,
hey, that ambient post is good.
That ambient post, Black Death.
This is what I'm talking about. Everyone has to go through their elitist stage.
Yeah.
Like I went through one where it's like if it's not from the 80s and if it's on the radio, fuck it. Like only 80s
mainstream's
metal.
where it's at, dude.
Early, no, it can't be on the radio.
Oh,
so
can't be.
No. Yeah, so like no Bullet, no Slipknot, none of that. I didn't like any of it.
What the fuck?
And I only like fucking like Megadeth, Metallica, Maiden, like those, Guns, stuff like that. And then fucking, But then the cool part is if you can eventually get to the point where you bring yourself out of that, then all of a sudden you have this plethora of shit to rediscover.
And that's how it kind of worked with me because I was like, I'm gonna find the heaviest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was like, it's totally Whitechapel.
Yep, they're one that I didn't used to like.
Well, and
now I love them.
Yeah, after I got used to like, oh yeah, screaming's really cool, yeah, and I was like, oh, Whitechapel's really fucking heavy.
I remember
it's like this is crazy.
God, hearing, I think it was Icon Blood and going, what the fuck is this?
See, so at that time I was like, yeah, it's totally Whitechapel, and then my buddy was like, dude, you gotta watch this. And he showed me the instrumental track, like of Alex Webster, Pat, and Rob. Not Rob. What was there? No. Why can't I fucking think of the drummer?
Oh, Paul.
Paul
Thank you. Yes. He showed me that of them playing Frantic Disembowelment.
God
and I was just like, oh my God.
That's something I was actually I wanted to ask you about, because you just 20 minutes ago you said that Wretched Spawn is your favorite Cannibal album as well.
It's very good. Yes, it's my favorite.
No, it's my favorite ever. I think you're the only other person I've ever heard say that.
Clint would too.
But most people, most hardcore Cannibal fans consider that one the step away.
You know, they can go suck a fuck.
Right?
I think that's their most like.
If you talk to our drummer Josh, boy, he'll tell you to suck a fuck, because he'll be like, nah, dude, Barnes days. And don't get me wrong, the bleeding is tight. I love the bleeding.
I mean, they've already had a couple albums with Corpse Grinder up to that point.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's.
I think that's the most
like a Vile album,
focused,
you know?
heaviest goddamn.
I mean,
record they've
the
done.
riffs.
It's riffs. All
Decency
day.
Defied. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Cyanide Assassin.
Oh.
That song is an unsung wonder.
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah. Even the
Deep
title,
cut.
even the title track, "Wretched Spawn," like
Yes.
Yep.
Every time they play that live, I go nuts.
Oh yeah, dude! Like when we played
Nuts.
them, and I was when I gave Alex the vinyl to sign. He's like, oh yeah, I remember this album. This was a hard album. He's like, this is a hard album. I was like, guys gonna play anything from it today? He's like, yeah, we're gonna play Wretched. You know, it's gonna be cool. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking goddamn
cool.
better.
You goddamn right, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
What are you
right.
talking about?
Yeah,
There's no way they can't be cool.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah. That's my.
Is-
That's
have you guys have you guys been around like East Lansing a lot in your lives? Do you remember a place called CD Warehouse?
Why does that sound familiar?
It was like on the corner of Abbott and Albert.
Okay.
my mom was afraid to drive in Lansing.
Fair enough.
So
My parents still are.
Yeah.
I have a slight fear too. You know, it's
there
really
was-
cool.
There was this great, like back there used to be a Tower Records in downtown. Oh my God. Downtown East Lansing used to be. Now I won't go down there anymore at all.
That's
But
right, dude.
it's fucking, it used to be awesome. They had CD stores everywhere. And I will fucking never forget the day I walked into that CD warehouse and I was going through the Cannibal Corpse. And when I saw the cover of Wretched Spawn, it freaked me out.
Yeah.
Now,
And so
was it
my thought,
was it the alternative
oh,
cover?
fuck
or
no. It was the real cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, they censored that shit real quick
Dude,
too.
oh,
They put
dude.
on, like all their shit.
Dude, and it was the deluxe edition too.
Ooh,
And fucking,
nice.
I was like, if this freaks me out, what's it gonna do to the cashier?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I bought it. Like
Oh, yeah.
completely blind. Had never heard a single song. Put that shit in. It was
And
over.
you're like,
it
dude.
was it was over.
My first Cannibal album was actually Vile. I saw it at a secondhand store, and that was the same day that I bought Deicide Serpent of the Light album.
So good.
And never heard of Deicide really, but Clint's like, dude, they're cool. I was like, all right, I don't know. I'll pay the $2. I don't
Those
give
are
a
the
shit.
best.
I'll pay the fucking $2.
Kill
Then
Death
when I
Do
got
Us
like Glenn
Part
Benton, like
is-
Serpents of the Light, you know, I was like, yeah, this is really fucking rad. And yeah, fucking
Oh my God.
yeah.
I love
Till
those.
Death Do Us Part on regular rotation in my car. I somehow what was the show we played?
I don't know.
At the Avenue.
Show
It was Dark Arts. A
Oh,
dude
yeah,
had a
that's right.
deluxe version, and it had a patch I gave to Josh. It said Glenn Benton for president.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It was cool as fuck.
Nice.
He's got it on his battle vest. Cool. It's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So then so how do you so you've known Clint for a while then. How do you end up with Recorruptor?
Well, Clint and I, we go way back. I mean, like, I don't know if he told you this story, but we were like pretty good friends in second grade. Actually, we went to school together, and we were in the same class together. We were really into like Nintendo, and I was a really big fan of Kirby.
Fuck yeah.
He was a really big fan of Mario, and so we drew comics together of Mario
God.
and Kirby going on adventures.
What?
Yeah. So, and then we got in a big fucking argument about something stupid with the comic, and we were pretty much like, fuck you. And we weren't really close friends until probably 7th grade, until we both started kind of getting into similar music and like talking a little bit more. We had like the same class, like the same science class.
So where was this? What school?
It was
where was it at?
It was Nashville. It was like Maplewood.
So he's from there too.
Yeah, well, he's technically from Vermontville area, which is like literally right next to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to the same school and all that, and yeah, we did those comics, got in a fight, and then we met in a science class again and just started hanging out a little bit more, and then we were talking about Judas Priest a lot and like Blue Oyster Cult and all that, and all those like old school bands. And then he got a guitar for Christmas. No, he got a bass for Christmas one year, and his dad got a guitar, but he picked up the guitar more, and I got a guitar for my birthday, which was in February, so it was like really close to Christmas. And then him and I were just like, dude, you want to like, you know, get together and like learn some songs and shit together, like jam some shit. And so we did, and yeah, from there we made our first band when we were 14 maybe, with a couple of senior kids, one from alternative ed that played drums. His name is Clint, also, but he actually, I gotta show you this picture of him later. He actually reminds me a fuck ton of Aaron. His facial features are like super similar.
That's
and
hilarious.
when I saw Aaron, which was way back, I actually played with his old band Medica.
Yeah,
a long
that's
time
how
ago.
I know him.
Yeah. I met him a long time ago at Medica CD release party.
Yeah, I was there, bro.
And I was like, God, he fucking looks like Clint. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. Blew my mind. But yeah, so we started our band with that. We did like covers of like, you know, Journey and fucking AC/DC.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. The AC/DC covers are the best.
And we played like we played the school dances, and you know, yeah. So we, you know, and then we would like rip out like Def Leppard, and and then one time we ripped out like Pantera's Walk, and that was like the coolest fucking shit ever, dude.
Yeah.
So
Dance to this.
So him and I go way back, and then after that ended, we started Condition Critical together, and then played that for years. I guess I shouldn't say years. It feels like years, but it's like probably started in 2010, so like 2 years.
Okay.
And then he was becoming a big fucking asshole, and he'd admit to it too. Trust me, if you call back to this, he'll admit to being a big old piece of shit. But he had a lot of stuff going on in his life and whatnot.
He surprised me when he told me that he used to book bands in the area.
Oh yeah, yep.
I didn't know that. That's pretty.
Yep.
That's also how I listened to a lot of the Jamie Josta podcast. Lead singer of Hatebreed.
Yeah.
That's how he got his start in the music scene, was booking bands in the Boston, Massachusetts area.
Yep. So he did that for a while, and then one day Recorruptor's singer, like, so him and I weren't in a band, and I was like continuing with Condition Critical under a different name.
Okay.
And kind of writing shit for that, and then that's when Dustin was like, hey man, our singer is like MIA, you know, you want to jam out like a couple of these tracks for this live show that we're playing? And he's like, yeah, sure, dude. And then became a permanent thing, and then they were searching for a guitarist, and I was like holding out. I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm already in 6-prong paw right now, you know, we're doing a lot, which we were. And so I was like, I don't know, dude. And then I was like, yeah, show me this shit. Let me see what I can do. And so I was like, man, this is pretty badass. Did that. And then it went from that to us losing our drummer. And we were like, and Josh was in 6-prong with me.
Oh, okay.
And so like that's how we came in contact. And I was like, hey, Josh, you want to play some drums? And he hasn't drummed like straight up death metal shit since like the Summon days.
Right.
Pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
And so, and he was like really apprehensive about it. He was like, I'll cover for a couple, you know, whatever, or like an album. Little did you know the album would take a year to get done. So yeah, fuck yeah, boy. There you go. But he, so that's how Josh got into it, and then then Schmitty fucking.
My backstory isn't as cool.
No, yeah, him and I don't go as far back, but we did work at the shitty store together.
Yeah, no, so like, no, I don't remember how we even like started just chatting back and forth.
I know, because I saw you, because I was working electronics that time.
We worked at Meyer and Charlotte.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yep. So I saw him wearing like just straight up like death logo on his shirt, and he was like looking at the games. I was like,
that's how it starts.
I was like, dude, that's a sweet death logo. Like, that's a cool shirt. I was like, you know, where are you from? He's like, oh, I actually work here. I'm like, oh. Shit, really?
Oh, no. I think I went to buy, like, this was like when, like, the fucking, like, what game was it? Like some PS4 game that just came out, you know, years ago. Yeah, and he's like, I was with my mom, which was kind of weird.
That's so cool, dude.
She's like, and she, you know, and she doesn't really care for much anything that isn't heavier than like Metallica. Right. So she's like, you know, look at I'm wearing that,
for me.
Yeah, wearing that death shirt. No, one time she goes, well, I don't really like this screaming music you're into now, but
yeah, it's a bummer, Mom. Sorry.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. No. So I'm wearing this fucking death shirt, and he's at the counter. I'm buying a game, and he goes, "Hey, man, that's a cool shirt." I'm like,
good impersonation of me, thank you.
I try.
It's about the same one that Jess makes. But.
I mean, then
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, you know, we got to chatting. At work hours, he'd find an excuse to come back to the receiving area. We'd talk about bands and shit. So one day he goes, hey, I've got these tickets to a show. I'm like, okay, what shows? He goes, yeah, Gojira's playing at the Fillmore.
Oh, yeah.
So not only
fucking Car Bomb, yeah,
with Car Bomb,
yeah, they were headline. Yeah,
check them
Car
out.
Bomb, Tesseract, and which they were whatever.
Nah.
And then Gojira went on and just.
That show was ridiculous, but I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know, I'll come with you. I haven't been to a show in a while.
Yeah.
The last show I'd been to before that was that Mayhem Fest. It'd been like 2 years.
Okay.
Didn't really get out much before us.
No, I didn't, honestly. Just little podunk city or the tiny city dude, not really knowing what shows are going on.
Yeah.
So I said fuck it, and
nice.
hot.
Wow, hot.
And so I said fuck it, and came along to this concert, and that's when I met Clint and Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we on the way there.
It's hard not to talk about what we do when we're driving 2 hours to a show, you know?
Yeah.
So stuff comes up.
Yeah. Because I was just this dude in the car sandwiched between two other people, my face into the fucking window.
Good stuff.
And what were we listening to? I can't remember what it was, like Cannibal Corpse.
I don't know.
I was doing like the On My Leg, the little bullshit bass fingers, just kind of jamming, and Clint stops and he goes, hey, do you play? I'm like, I have a bass. I just do Led Zeppelin covers in my basement.
Yeah.
He goes, hey man, well, we're looking for a bass player. You want to? And this was on the way there, so the whole concert I'm thinking, oh god, I'm going to join a band. Am I going to fight for this band? I'm so nervous. This is weird. What am I going to do? Like,
good times.
So
don't miss them.
So fucking, the show was phenomenal. That is my favorite show I've ever seen. That's just after Magma came out.
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
So
they had this, and it was funny enough. It was Joe DePlante's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's why they had Car Bomb out in the first place.
Yeah, it was
wow.
Joe's birthday, and they had this big screen in the back doing this crazy artwork from Mario the drummer, his brother, and it was just a really good show. The energy was ridiculous. Awesome. Coming real high off the energy. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll play for your band. I'll do
I'll do whatever you want.
After you see a great show, you'll play for anybody.
Oh, dude.
It's just like, all I want to do is that.
Yeah. You've been offered to be fucking in the Wiggles, and they've been like, yeah, I'll be in the Wiggles.
Fruit salad.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd make more money
Yummy,
than
yummy. We need to cover that. So no, I remember the first couple times was I went to Seth's place just to learn a few songs. Who's an Anomalies.
Yeah. So how does it feel going from playing Zeppelin covers to Recorruptor?
It's a bitch.
Yeah,
I remember.
I imagine.
Well,
it's a bitch.
Funny enough, Seth gives me the demo, and the best part was the demo case on the back of it was an old case from a church band.
That's right. Yeah. I stole these CD cases. I didn't steal them, but they were a take one from this local pizza shop in Nashville, and they were full of Jesus.
They were like it was like a gospel church band, and I was looking at. I was like, man, I could use those CD cases for my burnt CDs. I'm like, oh.
Shut the
so
fuck
I get this
up.
fucking
Shut the fuck up.
I forgot about that.
So the first Recorruptor demos were handed out in not quite stolen church music CDs.
Gospel
And-
CD cases.
And they still had what, the back?
Well, when you open it up, it would have like the little label of telling like
They
what
had a
church
little,
it's
like-
from and like
Okay.
who was
like
the
a little
preacher or
label
whatever.
maker printed thing out, and it was I don't know, like
Yeah.
the Jesus Quartet.
Yeah, and like
and-
it would have like fucking stupid shit out there, like just do fish know they're wet or like whatever.
Yeah.
just like really, I was like, wow, this is stupid, and I just fucking took them and I
So-
used them as disc
Incredible.
you know,
frisbees
I
out the
still
car, and
have
then I cut
that
the cases.
somewhere. I'll take a picture and send to you.
Please
Yeah.
do.
So fucking-
That's amazing.
I didn't notice that until like after I. But I remember
Great
one
cases,
day,
man. Great
like
condition
we went to a
free.
practice, and I'm like, you know, this is here. Seth goes, oh yeah, fucking.
Yeah, man. I forgot. Like, I took so many of those because, like, I'd go in there, like, you know, once a week or
Are you
so.
talking about fucking Fun Time Pizza?
No, good times.
Or Good Time Pizza,
Jesus,
sorry.
fun time. I mean, not good time.
It's not a good time. Pizza's all right.
Not
but-
good time. Not even.
Sorry, pizza place.
Yeah, pizza place. But yeah, so I took so many of those.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Oh,
even
God.
before doing like any of the Recorruptor stuff, that was like, I mean,
Funny as
those
fuck.
were just out there. I was like, man, I need CD cases for my
So
Burton
fucking-
CDs. That's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So fucking, I have this. So I have this goddamn. Yeah, I remember I opened it and I sat there for like half an hour before I even played. I had to like unplug my bass, put it back, and just laugh for a.
It's like, wow, these guys are really serious.
Like these guys, I'm like these guys are either like they're only in it for the joke, or they're actually they just don't fucking care.
Yeah, that was.
I
didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it.
The first two songs I learned were Anomalies. That's
Yeah. You had to, man. That's a single.
that was the
That's
biggest.
the one that's gonna
yeah.
bring us to the top, dude.
That and I want to say it was probably not Behemoth. That one came a little.
I think it was Sun. I think you
It
learned
was
Sun.
Sun.
Yeah.
Our longest song that no one wants to play anymore.
We're gonna be playing it soon anyway. So
I love that song.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
Yeah.
we busted it out when we were in Detroit the last time.
Oh, shit.
Was it?
No, it
Oh.
was Max.
Yeah.
It was Max.
I don't even.
Only
No,
because remember because Nick wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
it wasn't this previous time.
But it was
Okay.
like yeah.
It was
Anyway,
this one?
and it yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, it was actually.
It
Yeah,
was.
it was that
Then,
one.
yeah, it was
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Nick wouldn't shut
Yeah.
up about it.
Yeah,
for
we
like
have
months.
We
a
have
buddy
a
of ours.
fan and like
Hey.
good friend that really loves that song.
Well,
so
hey, you know what then? Fucking hats off to
Yeah.
you guys because that's amazing because I am a fan of a band called Medica that no longer exists.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time I ever saw them, they played a song that I loved and they all hated.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, fine. You guys, I tried to convince them to play it every show. They never would. I was like, fine, never play it again.
Yep.
Just at least record it for me one time
Right.
and put it on a CD so I can hear it. And they never did.
I bet you give Aaron so much shit.
Oh, constantly. But in fairness, he wasn't in the band when
Oh,
it was
gotcha.
written.
Okay.
So really,
Gotcha.
I'd have to give like Sisto shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was,
God,
dude.
that-
It was
I
called The
haven't heard his name
Stranger.
in a long time.
It was called The Strangers, and he had such a great voice. Like when he said I'll never forget the opening line. It was like oh, maybe I did forget it. There
Burton?
once was a man in a little tiny house or something like, and he had a secret. But the way he did it sounded
Very-
identical to Jack Skellington.
Okay.
And it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. And I always loved that song. But yeah, I'll never hear it again. So props to you guys for playing that song.
Well,
I'm
and
a
that's
fucking
the
fan.
and it's funny. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but like I know Clint and I will say that's our favorite song from.
I'm chill with playing it.
From
yeah.
Blood Moon,
Cool.
but
Okay.
it's 8 fucking minutes long.
Yeah, it's-
you know,
it's-
it's taxing on the
Unless-
guitar players and the drummer.
Not as much for me.
And, I mean,
It's
unless
still difficult.
you're headlining, do you really want to spend 8 minutes on one? Unless you're,
Right,
Iron
that's-
Mountain.
yeah, that-
so
Unless
True.
you're-
Shout out
Very
to Iron
true.
Mountain.
Very good band.
Oh my God.
I enjoy
good.
the fuck out of them.
I can't wait to play with those guys again.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited for
It's gonna
that.
be good.
Yeah.
They're gonna kick so much ass in
Um,
Oaks, dude.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
that was like, you know, our longest song, and it's not super. It's not a super taxing song for us
It's
because
just
it's
long.
like super melodic and whatnot.
Dustin shreds his ass off on
Dustin
it, though.
does. Oh boy, God, that fucking hurt. But I mean, when we're thinking about like set times and
Yeah,
whatnot,
it
we
just-
gotta
it
gotta
can't
pick and
fit.
choose,
Yes,
especially like
yeah.
with the newer material coming and
Yes,
whatnot.
yes.
Well,
Yes.
It's
and you also
like-
kind of gotta work it to what the crowd is. If we're playing a show with maybe more deathcore bands. That's that song doesn't exactly fit the mold. Obviously we're not going to just like, oh well, we're going to fit right in, but we'd like to keep it accessible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not everybody's into because it's very like ambient. It's very
melodic and but it's like also pretty shreddy at some points.
Yeah,
too.
It's not everybody's thing, and we know that.
Yeah.
So I learned that one. I remember looking at the time going, Jesus Christ, this song's fucking 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
I actually just wrote a 8-minute track yesterday.
That's not happening.
No. I'll give you a hint. It's not for us.
Oh, good.
It's just a little project. So
yeah.
Oh shit.
So I learned going back to how I joined the band. Not like anybody cares.
No. That was the next question.
No.
So
yeah, I don't.
Thanks. Seth got me in the band, so I don't fucking know what he's talking about. So I learned, Sun and Hallucinogenic. Also, Flesh came in like after like the first practice. So I remember being so fucking nervous with my amp that I had. I have.
Yeah, because we were so professional.
Well, I never.
I get it though. I get it.
Recorruptor is my first band ever.
Right. So you want to come in strong.
I don't want to look like a dick who doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
I come in with a PV. It's a fucking PV Mark III, which long and short, it's a bass amp from 1978.
It's really rad though.
It actually is. It'd be fucking legit in a doom metal band.
Yeah,
it would be. Yes.
It doesn't sound bad, but it's like it's beat to fucking shit. Like if you turn a knob wrong, it squeals and scares everybody. Like it's a piece of shit. Yeah, I got it for $100 with a free guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was my first real amp.
Hey, fuck yeah, though.
Yeah,
that's how everyone's first amp should be.
Right. So I come in with this big ugly 215 cab and shit, and they're like, okay, well, the material. And I played, and they stopped. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. So the next day goes by.
Yeah, after that day, we were like, hey, that ginger's not that motherfucker. Fucking band.
So another day goes by, whatever. And Seth goes, hey, man, next weekend, we're going to do practice again. Okay, cool. So I go in there, and
I was really hoping you wouldn't show up.
So was I. So, and I'm at home every day after work. I'm just playing to really get the songs down. And, I think it was like 2-3 practices go by, so, and then and then I go back for another one, and we play through again, and Clint goes, "Hey man, so I don't know.
We are invested this much time into.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, man. You want to join us? I'm like, yeah, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
That
was fun though.
Yeah. So that's the.
So that's how you got in.
That's the long version of how Recorruptor now has a bass player.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! So what? So you said your first show was Blind Guardian.
First show was Camelot actually.
Camelot.
Yeah, Camelot and Ed Guy. Yes.
All right, Ed Guy. That's right.
It was actually I don't know if you know Camelot super well, but it was when they were touring with the Ghost Opera album. It was the one that came after Black Halo.
Okay.
Which they played a lot from Ghost Opera, and it was fucking amazing.
Where was that at?
I don't remember what place it was called, but I knew it was in LaGrange, Indiana.
Oh, okay. That was the one that was out of state. That's
yes, right.
How'd you end up over there going to that? Did you just drive over there for that show?
Well, so my brother's friend's dad drove us to that one because they only had the permits, and I was 13 or 14 or something like that, and so they couldn't drive that far and whatnot. So his friend's dad shuttled all of us in the van, took us to go see Camelot and Ed Guy over.
So your first show was straight up like driving out of state to go to a show.
Yeah, I know, pretty fucking hardcore, right?
Cool. Yeah,
and you had a good time because I don't remember anything about that car ride. I just remember the show super well, and that was my first experience of like seeing a mosh pit happen too. I've never seen what a mosh pit was or anything like that. And yeah, seeing that during Ed Guy's set, I was like, damn, this is really cool. And then Camelot went on, and boy, when the lights go down came on, I was like, this is insane. And yeah, awesome. It's so good. But yeah, Camelot's really cool. I really enjoy that band. It's really cool because it's like a conceptual, like the Black Halo is a conceptual album, and it actually has Shagrath from Demi Borgir in it.
Oh,
nice.
Doing guest vocals in a couple parts.
Fuck yeah.
He's playing like Mephisto in there, so it's super cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so they had like samples of him playing over there. I was like, whoa, that's kind of scary voice.
Yes, I love. Hey, I love And I'm not sure about, but I also love how much the new Mayhem album sounds Dimmu-Borgir-y, if you will.
In a sense, yeah.
Like there are certain parts in the vocals.
Oh yeah, okay. It's
it has that exact.
It's
fucking
definitely talky,
shit.
icky, wicky.
Yeah,
kind of
but I
voice,
love it.
yeah. It's good.
I love it.
It's
I
good.
love it. So, what was your first show?
You guys are gonna laugh.
It was the Blue Man Group in
Oh
Chicago.
no! Wait till I tell you mine. So go.
God. Weirdly enough, like I came onto the going to see concerts.
It was Rat.
I don't
fucking round and round, motherfucker.
Rat doesn't suck.
Sorry. Well,
anyway, they don't. Every song they have besides that song is actually pretty good. Anyway,
oh my god.
My first, well, let me give you two because they were kind of in like the same idea.
All right.
I came on to seeing concerts like way late. I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, that
right.
range.
Me too.
Yeah. My first show was Sammy Hagar.
Ooh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Go ahead. I got
Sammy Hagar, and he had this blues rock band from California called Rival Sons. Cool, all guys.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar fucking killed it, dude.
Yep.
That man has more energy than like people, our age. That man is almost 70 and he does more than anybody else on stage. And then either the year after or 2 years after, I saw Van Halen.
Very nice. With Sammy Hagar.
With
you saw it with David Lee.
With David Lee Roth.
Yeah, that's the last time they were in Michigan.
It was. So I saw
that was
them.
when I was in fucking. I remember when I was in high school.
2015.
Oh no! Okay, that would have been later then, much later. 20. Where was that at?
DTE.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was Kenny Wayne Shepherd, which I hate that single he has. Everything else is cool, like blues. The fucker shreds, but like he does like cool, like southern like blues rock.
Oh right.
I hate Blue on Black. That song's awful.
Yeah,
that song fucking sucks. Everything else he does actually doesn't suck. He can play. No, Van Halen came on and played a 3 goddamn hour set.
Oh,
yeah.
That must have been
oh,
nuts.
dude, it was absolutely insane. And both of those were with my dad. Again, who was instrumental in me learning all the bands that I love.
And where was the first one?
Also DTE.
Oh my god.
So you know the sound.
Right.
What year was the first? Was Sammy Hagar?
Oh god, it was like 2013.
Okay.
So like I had done like nothing, and then boom, 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 join Recorruptor, and then just I get to see bands because I play with them.
see his bands for fucking free.
For free.
Wasn't your first show with Battlecross?
My first show was Winter Warriors Tour 2017.
Yeah,
that
was with
a Legion.
A Legion was there, and Necromancing the Stone.
Necromancing the Stone. Who else? I forget the other band. I'm thinking of that power metal band that Joe Cadie's in, but that was the
that was
other one
Necromancing the Stone.
Joe's not in that. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shit, yeah, you're right.
That was the we skipped a year and played with them again, and Joe Cadie, the guitar tech, and the guy who's filling from Battlecross. I was telling you about his power metal band.
Yeah.
Who Tony is doing vocals for.
Okay.
Now they kick ass.
Oh, Finality.
Check them out. They kick ass.
Yeah.
My first show with Recorruptor was fucking Battlecross.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing like testing the waters like a Battlecross show.
I remember.
Where was this?
That was at Token Lounge.
Son of a bitch.
I got off stage and I
saw that tour twice that year. That was really cool.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Allegiant was so goddamn good.
They're so good.
Where was the second time you saw it?
It was at the intersection, the Stash.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember getting off stage, and there's a diehard fan he's from like Massachusetts, and he was going, holy shit. I'm like,
oh no, Delaware. Yeah, John.
Yeah. That dude is an OG. He comes down every time they do a winter thing. He comes from up there just comes to be. He's a diehard Battlecross fan. I mean, they have the Unite page. They're all they have such diehard fans.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
It's so am I. And we've been lucky enough to be invited into that fold. A lot of the.
Huron really enjoys us.
Huron likes us. Manny, who's one of the admins of the page, likes us. So
Fuck yeah.
Don really enjoys us.
Yeah.
And Tony, actually, all those dudes really
they're super
like
fucking
us.
cool.
Hell yeah.
I got off
So that was
stage and I
nice.
talked to Don. I'm like, hey, man, it's Honor Pither. He goes, you were the opener. He goes, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, man, it's my first
We should
show.
just change our band name to You Are the Opener.
Oh, you were the opener? Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That would be great. But
You're right.
no, my first.
It's a great EP title.
Yeah, You Are the
That'd be
Opener.
sweet. Yeah, debut album. But no. Yeah, man, that show was ridiculous. I remember. I mean, it's fucking a Legion. I remember seeing them, and I'm like, I can't do that.
That's
and we got up on
Legion
stage
was
and played,
great.
and it was unreal. It was crazy.
Holy shit.
I remember when we got done, I looked at Seth because, like, when you're up there or when you're seeing a show you really love, the time goes by super fast.
Mm-hmm.
I get done, I look at Seth and I go, "Are we done? That's it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's all the time we were allotted, man.
That was my first show.
Yeah,
that was a hell of a show.
That's insane.
That one was fun.
Going back to Sammy Hagar real quick, funny story about him. My mom actually saw him way back before the Van Halen days, before anybody like knew him. I think he was out with Eddie Money.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll say. So she saw him sometime in the late 80s, I believe, and she has like an old ass cassette from Sammy Hagar, where he's just like fucking doing that with a guitar, just
like Montrose or like
I don't fucking know. I don't know what it was. But I remember she was telling me that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so just hitting that back there.
No, I'm going back to it too, because my first show ever was Common Ground. It was Blue Oyster opening for Whitesnake.
That'd be a good show.
And then it was fucking Dave Copperfield was on point. He's like, I haven't seen a fucking keg that big since London.
Dude, Coverdale is the man.
Oh man. But then I'm pretty sure it was later that same summer. Yeah, I think it was later that same summer. My first show ever at DTE was Sammy Hagar on the Cabo Wabos.
Nice.
First show ever at DTE. First concert t-shirt I ever bought was Sammy Hagar, and then for the encore of that show was the first and only time to this day that I've seen Kid Rock. Kid Rock came out and sang Led Zeppelin covers with Sammy Hagar.
Bald with some Led Zeppelin, didn't he?
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. That place went. That was good. That place went nuts. But yeah, that was the first time at DT, and I consider fucking DT a home away from Pine Knob.
Oh, it's
a
home,
fucking
dude.
home away from home.
Yeah.
Like I've seen so much.
I was
shit
just there.
Like, I was on the side of the stage during the Mayhem Fest watching Kill Switch.
Damn.
Like with Howard, fucking yeah. Like we got backstage because a buddy, friend of ours back in the day, was the kid brother of fucking Craig Owen, the lead singer of Chiodos.
Okay.
And fucking he got us some backstage. Slayer, we saw Slayer sitting there eating some fucking lunch with Marilyn Manson, and then we walked to the side of the stage and fucking watched fucking Kill Switch. Oh my god, yeah. Like,
that's awesome.
It was, I love DT so much. Like back in the day, it took a while. Like for a minute there, they had a real bad sound system. I remember watching Lamb of God there one year, standing on the hill. I think I was talking to Aaron, and we were talking just like we are right now, completely normal volume, and we could hear each other. I was like, we should not be able to hear each other right now. Lamb of God is on the fucking stage.
Right.
Like, but then the last 2 years I've been going back.
They've been great.
They got a whole new system.
I just saw Gojira, Behemoth.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, that show was.
That's where this came from.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fucking. Oh, yeah,
it's
no.
amazing.
Gojira.
Oh my god.
Gojira always sounds good live, but their mixing does them justice. Behemoth was everybody.
Cannibal.
Was decipherable.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cannibal. Yes, decipherable. Exactly.
You can hear, and that's the thing. Like, I hate with a lot of, just me being an asshole bass player. A lot of places, they're mixing of the bass register. Either you just lose it because of subwoofers, or they mix it too loud and vocals are gone. You know, DTE does a great job of when fucking Orion's up there just doing his thing. You know, he's he just chunks along, and you can hear that.
See, I don't know when they switched systems. When
it would have been
recently.
Yeah, it would have been in between 2014 and 18.
Okay,
somewhere right in there.
I was wondering about that because, like, I don't have any bad memories of it. I saw I've saw Maiden there twice. I saw them in 2011 with Dream Theater.
I was there.
Were you?
Yep.
And I was like, I thought everything was decipherable and like super solid.
Oh yeah.
But,
I'm not.
At the same time,
sound,
I was probably also just starstruck because I was like,
by no means am I saying their sound has ever sounded bad, but they've gotten so much better. Like I feel like they've been working on it too. There
was just a point in time where it was real quiet.
Yeah.
It was not as loud. And keep in mind also, when I was watching Lamb of God at that Mayhem Festival, the fucking sun was still up. So there was no reason for it to be quiet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was during the daytime. So Like, yeah, like, but no, now, perfect.
It's crazy.
Perfect. Like, that Slayer show was the first show this year at DTE. They opened the season with that show. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but by the end of that show, they had thrown Sod up onto the screen.
Oh, God.
The brand new fucking, it has to be less than 4 years old.
Right.
Fucking screen that, looks out on the lawn.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Man.
It was total fucking chaos. It was,
That's a
Damn.
bummer.
it was so good. It was so good. I love that place so much.
I love DTE. It's you're like you said, it's the home away from home.
Yes.
It's all national bands.
Except the beer
they know.
prices. Except
The beer
Wow.
prices do suck. And you go to any venue, beer prices.
Yeah.
yeah,
Except
if
for
you
like
talk about the
Max.
fucking elevation.
I can
Max
go-
is
Oh
great.
my god,
but-
I got.
I'm drinking a
later.
rather expensive IPA right now at Max. It'd be like $4.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
exactly.
the Bell's one was $5, and
Yeah.
it was like nice.
And that's
pint.
like a
Max is
$6 beer. Like,
solid. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fantastic. But that's a smaller venue. Of course, you're gonna find that at the real, like less than 200 people venues or whatever. They
Yeah.
are.
and that goes without saying that
Yeah.
Max is home. I tell anybody
Oh.
that like Max is absolutely home. I've played and seen a ton of
Might
shows
look
there
like
that it-
shit, but
Hey,
it's a home.
It's another.
It looks like my house.
It's another example of a place like I remember going there. God, I don't fuck. Like in between 2005 and like 8, somewhere in there. I remember going there a few times, and I would go there and
Way before my time.
wouldn't
yeah, way before.
I wouldn't be able, like you just pointed out, I wouldn't be able to decipher like
Yeah.
it just
Oh yeah.
is what it says. It was terrible sound system. But I remember
I have a
then
story
I
about
went
that too,
back
yeah.
there for I can't remember if it was Medica or Bogwraith at that point or Magnolia at that
Oh yeah. I
point.
forgot Magnolia.
But yeah, I remember going back there at one point and being like, "Holy shit! Actually, it sounds fucking
Wait,
good."
wasn't that the Betray the Prophet Magnolia show?
Yep.
Yeah, and I
Yep,
was
yep,
on.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
Recorruptor was on that show
Yeah.
too.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first show I went back there, and I was like, "Oh, this all right? They got a
No,
new
they
sound
sound
system.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
So,
no,
I
it's
mean,
great now.
You
It's
know,
great.
I think I know why that might be. Why they have like a slightly better like monitors up towards the ceiling wise, because I remember seeing a. Yeah, it was probably before that show, but was watching Dead Hour Noise,
Mhm.
and
I'm so happy.
during the time where their set was going on, I was like, man, why is that monitor glowing? The fuck? And then you look in the fucking sound hole of it, and it's on fire.
Are you talking about his face cab?
No,
That was
the
at our
fucking ceiling monitor was on fire, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking on fire!
'Cause on
That's fucking on fire!" And so we were about to all fucking like run out of there, and we were like, "Dude, this fucking shit's on fire, dude!" And like that hour's still fucking jamming and playing along and shit like that, and I was like, "Your fucking monitor's on fire, dude!"
That's crazy.
And then Jess and I were about to fucking just go.
Run, yeah.
We were like, "Dude, this place is gonna fucking burn.
Yeah.
This sucks." And then like we put on our coats and everything like that, looked up, and it was like dwindling. But no sound was coming from that speaker anymore. But that was
That's
like
like
the craziest shit.
Oh my
It
god.
must be the same idea at our CD release because they opened for us. I want to say it was it Ed's cab was like when he was using his wah pedal, it would like I saw it lighting up and
yeah.
shit. Those guys just fucking tear Max down, and I'm so glad they're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But- Yeah, no, that was a crazy time. Though. It was really fun.
You might be one of the only people that saw that. Like,
You-
what the
yeah,
fuck?
like the whole fucking other
Max
10 people
almost
that was in
burnt.
the venue.
That's fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
Like I was like looking up and I pointed and then like some other people looked like, oh shit, and that's like the one they went out for like fucking just left and booked it or whatever. And after Dead Hour got off, I don't know who I talked to. I might have talked to Ed or Cody was still in the band. I was like, dude, the monitor was on fire when you guys were playing, and they looked at me. He was like, oh shit, really?
Oh
Was
my-
it out? I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you could see some smoke kind of like coming from that. But yeah, that was insane. I think it was like the lack of oxygen that was in there and like how heavy duty the outer casing is of those monitors that
Oh, yeah.
probably put it out. But yeah, there's definitely a short and then that caused that. I mean, I couldn't think of anything else. But yeah, that was the craziest shit. I almost saw Max burn to the fucking ground because that was stupid.
That's it. That is insane.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That just holds to the testament of Max will forever stand.
Yeah. That's a true dive if you see the monitor catch on fire.
No. There's a guy that I work with, and he's like in his 60s, and he'll ask about the band playing and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, playing at Max Bar. He goes, holy shit, I remember Max Bar. I used to go there when I was about your age.
Oh yeah, everybody has their fucking drinking.
Anybody from Lansing has a Max story.
No, yeah, like there's so many fucking things. Like part of the reason why I think I talked to you guys about this at the last Recorruptor show. Aaron and Mike from Bogwraith came up with an idea to do like I said, they asked me, or Aaron asked me, and that's another thing. You guys know what I'm saying, like. Every fucking big concert you want to go to, it's 2 to 3 hour round trip, right? Mm-hmm. So the people you go with, the conversations,
that's what makes it
that you end up having. That's part of what started this whole fucking podcast. Is some of those conversations I had with Aaron or whatever, going to shows and shit. I'm like, these should be recorded, and but the fucking shit. Where did I start with that?
Max Bar,
God damn it. Going to shows, son of a bitch, I lost it. There was a real big point there.
Starting the podcast.
Right before that.
I was talking about everyone has a Max Bar story. Going to shows.
Old dudes and I have
old dudes at shows.
I have a fucking story about Max.
No, it was like a son of a bitch. I forgot. It'll come back. Oh my god, I hate it when I do that. I do it like almost every fucking episode.
All right, that's a great story.
At one point, you're like, oh fuck,
yeah, and then it's gone.
Right. Yeah. So no, you start on one thing and you do a quick sidetrack and you want to come back and then you.
Dude, I feel bad for anybody I've had to tell a story to because like mine just take tangents and then like, oh yeah, the main point.
right. It circles around eventually.
That's good. It's good quality to have.
Didn't ask you.
Nobody did.
But
shit.
No, definitely, man. That's
no, yeah, that's one of the main things that did start this podcast, though.
Yeah,
those
and it's cool as fuck. You know, there's a lot of guys, and it's a local thing. You know, and that's you ask anybody that's in a band, that has seen a band, that's been in a band, all that kind of thing. Just how close knit we are in the state. Like I have friends from upwards of Grand Rapids and farther than that. You know, guys I could chat with on Facebook at any minute, and then you know. That kind of shit. It's this brotherhood unlike anything else.
There is something like that. And you know, that's the thing is I've actually only been to ever one show out of state, and it was Iron Maiden. And but I've always wanted to experience shows in other states to see if the crowds actually are like they are here,
right? Or
if they're different. And even here in Michigan, they're different. If you go to I've seen. In my opinion, and this is just me, but in my opinion, when I go to certain shows in Grand Rapids, the audience just isn't quite as fucking as they are in Lansing or Detroit. It does depend on the show, but I'm talking even Children of Bodom, Parkway Drive, Amon Amarth. I've seen a lot of stuff at the intersection and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, Lamb of God at the 20 Monroe Live.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. That was a good
time. Were you at that show?
Yeah, I was at that show.
Have you been to the 20 Monroe yet?
I haven't.
Didn't Behemoth play that one?
I would love to.
Yep.
Fucking awesome venue.
Yeah.
It's brand new.
Yeah, I saw Gojira there too.
Hell yeah.
It's one of those ones I haven't really had this at any other venue in the state. You walk in and there's the lobby, and then you walk into the concert hall, and it's you can hear the muffled sound. Okay. This room is designed for sound. You know what I mean?
It's very nice.
The second you walk in there, you can your ears adjust to the difference. It's crazy. Cool. Yeah. So it's a very
nice venue. Very cool. It's a
show that I wanted to see there. Yeah.
It's connected to the Bob too.
Okay.
Actually,
Oh, is it really?
It's literally directly across the street from the Van Andel.
Shit.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go upstairs on 20 Monroe, you can walk through the door and go right into the Bob.
See, I've been to the Bob.
Hell
but I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
cool
it's a solid venue.
Yeah.
But but sometimes that was it. The depending on where you go, even within the state, the crowds are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always made me wonder about other states. You know what I mean?
Well, when I can't really say like how they are for big national shows, but like when Six Prong did, like we did a couple U.S. tours, and we played, from Massachusetts.
So you've
Rhode
actually
Island.
played other states.
Yeah, to like
Yeah.
Vegas.
I have.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
I have
from
with,
Blue to Gray.
from Blue to Gray out of Mount Pleasant.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played with Brutal Gray?
I did
Yeah, he
for,
did for- yeah.
about almost a year.
Yeah.
Holy
We
shit.
did a tour, and that was we had either there was nobody or.
Did you ever play the Loft with them?
Well, Recorruptor played the Loft with them 2 months ago.
Like a month
No,
ago.
okay, well, I know I saw them. I think I saw them with like Medica once or something like that.
Oh,
at the
that was
Loft.
that was.
I mean, they've been around for like 10 years.
Okay, all right.
They recorded an album in like 2014 with the famous Jamie King.
Okay.
Who records like the Contortionist? Who records? Not to detract from what you were saying. I'll
I don't even remember what I was
go
saying.
back to
It's cool.
U.S. tour with you. Go first.
Oh, yeah,
I don't wanna
yeah,
take
yeah.
away-
Wrong.
We'll
Yeah.
come back to me. I don't want to be.
I mean, like, the coolest one was actually probably in Tulsa, like Arizona.
Ah, son of a bitch! I've heard
And-
big bands say that.
It was really cool. We played both Phoenix and Tulsa, and it was really cool. We actually had a radio station really set us up. They set us up with like a nice hotel room,
Oh yeah.
and they set us up with that show and got we had a band that we played with in Vegas that was actually from Arizona area, so they did that like a 3-day run with us. Oh shit, what were they called? Something Sorrow. I don't know. They were really Mad Max looking motherfuckers. They had like the armor, they had like the face paint and all that. It was pretty
I think
cool.
I know who you're talking
Honestly, Salvation Sorrow. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I'm friends with a couple of the dudes there, but yeah, we played Arizona with them, and yeah, Tulsa was like the coolest place ever. The venue was tight. It was really cool. I super enjoyed it. And I guess the other kind of cool place that we played that had a cool crowd was it was in Texas. It was what was it? Tomcats, and it was like Fort Worth, Texas. Really cool. That was actually the same day that we decided to like, well, shit, we were so close. We saw Dime's grave. So we were like, hey man, we're here. It's like maybe
That's
like
it.
half hour from the venue. So we went and did a little detour and saw that.
Awesome.
That's a heavy metal
So-
spiritual experience.
Yeah, it was
right
really
there.
it was
It's a
it was
sacred
really
site.
rad.
Yes.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
I would
rad.
love to.
'Cause Vinny's there now.
Vinny's
Yeah.
there. Have you
And-
seen his
Yeah.
his Ogre's Grave? It's
Yep.
beautiful.
Oh,
Crazy.
it's awesome.
I wish they'd redo Dimes. It was defaced years ago.
The-
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's all scratched up. Uh-huh.
And they haven't redone it?
They haven't.
No. I mean, they probably could. They got to like the state has enough money.
I mean, regardless of the bullshit, no, that is a metal sacred site. I
Yeah,
feel
it was
like
really cool. I left the guitar pick there.
That's awesome.
It was rad.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good time, man. It was great. And then North Carolina was the other really cool place that we played. We played there on a previous tour, the same bar, and I mean, small fucking place, small ass stage, but we met a lot of cool bands there, and
yeah.
it was probably like the best, one of the best crowds too that we had.
To kind of bounce off what Seth was saying. So Blue to Gray, we did a lot of stuff. We kind of played shows our way down to the south.
Sorry, I remembered another venue that was fucking awful and so much fun.
There's,
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, we it was a weird tour because we had shows we had one show where everybody left before the band started. Like it was literally just us and the other band in Ohio.
That was so much fun.
And then the funny part is that bar closed down like a week after we played there. We played in Tennessee. That bar closed down the week after we played there. It wasn't until about Florida where we kind of hit a stride. We went down to, and I forget when this goes on Facebook. I'll have to tag the guys in Blue to Gray or the guys in the band we played with to remember where it was. I want to say Orlando. little place called Bombshells. It's this weird bar you walk in, and it's very like velour, classy. There's like couches and like drapes over the windows and shit.
And this strip club before.
And this it looked like a strip club. There was like red drapes over the windows and shit, and this like actually bigger than Max Bar stage in the back. Like this nice, and it's like 3 feet off the ground. All this good shit. We played with a band called Varangar.
Yeah, that's right.
Who just played with?
Which Recorruptor just played with at the Loft.
Yeah. This cool like pagan black metal band out of Florida. Really super cool, shreddy.
The last show at the Loft
that we played.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Were you at that?
Did they go before you guys?
They went on after.
It was after the Minor. Varangar, Blue to Gray, and there was another band, Silence.
Oh yeah.
Silence. Yeah.
And those guys are awesome. Yeah. So we met these guys in Varangar, and just really good dudes. And that was and that was the crowd where the tour to us kind of paid off. You know, crowd came in, and we met these people, and those guys have connections to Florida now, which is cool. Yeah. And besides that, we played some other shows, and that was October last year. I should remember, but I'm forgetting a lot of the places. Moving around that much, you forget little details.
See, the weirdest fucking place that Six Prong ever played was a place called Kirby's Beer Store. And it was connected to a like a washing machine, like a
laundromat.
Laundromat, yes, thank you. Yeah, it's connected to a laundromat. Fucking right next to it, there was a tumbleweed of cigarette butts right outside the door. And you went in, and I fucking shit you not, the stage was probably take that desk right there that you got, and then bring it back to about this table.
All right.
So it was enough to fit the drums on and
stand in front of the drums.
And stand in front of it. One cab was like pretty much pushed up onto a wall. One of the cabs were pushed up onto the back wall, and then the bass cab was on the floor. And our bassist played on the floor, and our singer stood on one of the tables that was in front of the stage, while the other guitarist and I took the rest of the stage. It was the smallest show that we've ever played. I'm pretty sure it was the smallest stage we've ever played. We got free PBR through the night, which fucking sucked, but you know, whatever. And then it was a fucking weird, crazy night, but met a lot of cool people. The band that had us booked there, the dude was a guy that worked at like this pub that had pizza there, so he hooked us up with some free pizza and some free drinks, and I'm like, all right, his name was Ryan. Yeah, that's what it was. He was a really cool guy. It was a really good time.
We had a show, and we had a day that was canceled. We were supposed to play in like Chicago, which would be fucking awesome, and that got canceled. So we somehow diverted to Louisville, Kentucky, and
there you go.
A dude, his name was Louis.
Louisville.
Yes. A guy named Louis, he goes, or we found this bar. The guys had called the whoever was running the tour, said, "Hey, we got to find a show to play. You know, we need to try to make some money tonight." We found this little bar in the middle of like the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky. And
Louisville. It's pronounced Louisville.
Yeah, I'm not from there. I don't pronounce it like that.
You have to, else the locals get fucking pissed. I found that one out.
Dude, they do though.
You from Louisville?
So
no. Sorry, man.
We came across this little bar, and this guy who's known for booking stuff across that part of there, and we played with this band. They were kind of like, I don't know, groovy.
Shitty. He means shitty.
No, they weren't bad. Band called Pull Pin Throw. They groovy kind of. I don't know what to compare them to. Cool band. Really, really, really good night there. We had gone to Augusta, Georgia, and Augusta, Georgia there's James Brown everywhere. It's like it's literally just James Brown everywhere. We played this.
Also, a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. Much like what James
had in
his veins.
Like nobody there anymore.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So we played this. Talking about the free beer thing, we played this bar, which was the whole stage behind it was literally about as long as this table right here. That which is it's a fold-out table.
Yeah, it's not very long at all.
We had to fit 5 guys in a whole drum set up there, which sucked. But
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget the guy, the bartender. His nickname was Boone. Just this dude, funny as hell.
At least his name wasn't Rooster, then you'd be in for a real fucking surprise.
They had Soul Calibur playing behind the bar on like a PS2, and the guy just gave us free beer. So I'm just getting smashed on like Newcastle Brown Ale the whole night. The goofy shit like that is what made it fun. We didn't make any money, but
It's always the best
That's
times.
still fucking insane.
it was
though.
crazy.
Wow, I didn't know you guys had played out of state before. That's fucking, especially in other bands. That's fucking insane.
Good time.
I like to think we can take that, and Josh too with his.
Oh, well, yeah,
stuff.
Josh.
I like to think
Josh
that
has been around for a
That's-
while.
That's where.
Here we are.
I forgot.
Okay,
point.
hell yeah.
He found the point.
Going back now.
That's what I forgot.
All right.
That was
wait,
it.
we're redlining that shit. Look
It's
at that.
who fucking cares? That's fucking. That was it. No, yeah, that was a side tangent. But Josh, so Aaron and Mike from Medica came, and Aaron was like, "What was the first metal band in Michigan?" And I didn't know. And I think I talked to you guys about this in the last Recorruptor show, and you guys were like, "Talk to fucking Mike, our drummer, because he was in Summon."
Yeah.
And I actually looked up
knows
Summon the other
everything.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
and fuck it. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to the guys in Exploding Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I know
Oh,
they've been
yeah.
around forever.
Yep,
Those
Jeff
guys,
is really cool,
Seth,
dude.
they're
And-
up for a while.
yeah, Centenary has Jim.
Centenary.
Yeah,
Who's that?
they're a band.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, we
Wait.
actually played with them at Max.
They're from
Okay.
Lansing.
Oh shit.
Well,
okay. yeah.
Jackson area technically, but
And
well,
Dagan. I feel
Dagan.
like Dagan's been around a while
Yep.
too. And Alfonso.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
actually, little short side tangent here. My cousin. Have you ever heard of Year 2000X? They're a Nintendo Core cover band.
Oh,
They've been
maybe.
around for a while. I know Chris and Randall from Dagan through family. I know those guys really well.
Oh, shit.
When I told them, hey, my cousin is this guy, they're like, oh shit. So I have like weird connections to those guys. I know them, yeah, and they've been around for a long time.
Yeah, especially
Long
around the
time.
Lansing scene. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's fucking. So yeah, look, there's a lot of stuff like that where it's like that's where the fuck I was going. There's a lot of stuff like that where it's like I want to know, like I want to like investigate the fucking like history of metal in Michigan, but also
Yeah.
through that, but also through fucking venues because I think venues have stories, especially
yeah.
Max.
I'm
Venue
sure.
owners and
Harpo's?
chat about
Well,
it.
Max has a lot of stories. Actually, my cousin, crazy, also another little side tangent, but it's about Max, so it's slightly on topic here.
Yeah.
She was actually really good friends with all the dudes from Mastodon in
No shit.
in the early 2000s days when like Remission and all that came out, and they played Max all the fucking time.
Mastodon.
Yeah.
They played.
Oh yeah, back in the early
What?
2000s. Yeah, and they played Max.
Hashtag Maxtodon.
Yeah, Maxodon. But
What?
my cousin Bobby would like every time they came through, she would always have them stay at her place, and they would do.
There was a lady I met like that. I'm sorry, but there was
That's
a lady
good.
I met like that once who was that lady from Mushroom Head.
Oh yeah.
Oh no shit.
Literally, she was like, they stay at my place every time they come
That's
through
cool.
Flint because she
Yep.
was in the Flint area. But go on.
No, I mean that was pretty much it. That's just like venues like that would have stories about bigger bands, now bigger bands coming through
Yeah.
that play like stadiums
Yes.
that played
They
like
do.
those yeah
Glen Mayhem.
yeah that played at Max Bar in like early 2000s
See, I find
and
that shit funny. Is like a
crazy.
lot of bands that because extreme metal is a weird thing. It's the bands we idolize aren't common mainstream, but they started where any local band started.
Yes.
At Max, they played
Yes.
shitty dive bars.
Yes.
And then people took notice.
There's an incredible podcast that did not they haven't come out with a new episode in like a couple years.
oh it's a bummer.
So there's not very, but what does exist is nothing but gold. I highly recommend both of you check it out. It's called Heavy Metal Historian Podcast,
Yeah.
and
Is it on
it's
Spotify? Or-
probably,
Okay.
it's fucking unbelievable. But they do like these 3 parts on like thrash metal, black metal, death metal.
Oh,
like
that's
it's.
cool.
Have you ever seen Metal: A Headbanger's Journey?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Great
brilliant,
one.
right?
1,000 times.
It's amazing.
Great
Yes,
one.
yes.
Sam is the best.
The best. Banger TV, shout out. Fucking, it is that of podcasts.
Okay.
It's incredible. And like at the end of every single one of those episodes, and I I'd like to say adopted it, but stole it. Is just fucking exactly that. Like the saying of they came up with the saying of every single one of your favorite bands started out as a local fucking band. So like the next fucking Sabbath, Maiden, Slipknot, fucking Dahlia,
they're yet to be found.
And yeah, exactly. They could be doing their legendary local beginning shows in your town right now. Literally.
I mean, I like to think that, and again, I can't speak for other states and stuff, but there's so much diversity here. Fucking
Michigan is a wild one,
dude. I mean, we're just always pissed, apparently, but like,
yeah.
Fucking, you get the Bog Wraiths, who they have a sound like any other. You get, I mean, fuck. There's so it's hard
Battle
to choose.
Cross, Dahlia,
fucking
from here, and then you got stuff like Green Leaves and like Snafu. Snafu's pretty wild, and then you get real weird shit like Acid Witch.
Yeah,
like that's fucking crazy, but I love it.
Local guys that are making it big. You talk about guys of Virtue.
About Virtue,
they just toured Asia.
Oh,
shit, like
really?
they've been doing world tours.
Shit, I didn't know.
They have.
That.
They've been working their ass off. Those guys.
They have been working their ass off.
They've been working their
sure.
and I hope everything goes their way. It's good to see. They're not like, obviously they're not new. They've been around for a while, but it's good to see a new-ish band that isn't like Black Dahlia, 20-some years now.
I mean,
almost doing that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
As Recorruptor, wherever we sit, it's cool to see that possibility's there. It's cool to see that they're these guys just doing everything they can, and you commend them for that. You really look at it going, okay, I'm going to take notes. I'm going to try to do what you're doing.
Yes.
It's awesome.
The Exploding Zombies, the No Life Heartsicks, the fucking Dagans, and then there's who's that? Even though they're not metal, there was one band, and it's a fucking insane story. Okay, so the only fucking reason I even know Aaron, all right, is I went to LCC and for a while, and I took a class, two classes back to back, rock and roll history.
That's
rad. Cool as fuck.
Rad.
Unbelievable, right? I saw that. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Done.
And then band management.
Really?
Right after that. All right. And both of these classes. So I remember there was one day in particular. We come to class, and I used to work at the hardware store in Frandor for like 10 years.
Ace Hardware?
Yeah. Yep. ACO. Yep. There was ACO when I worked there at least. Yeah.
Right off the
Yeah,
drive.
fucking casual.
Yep. And fucking, I worked there with this guy I went to high school with who had, and like he was kind of into the same music, but not quite the heavier stuff, And he had the same fucking class as me. So and he lived right around the corner from me. And so once in a while he'd ask me for a ride to work. So fucking that day he asked me for, or not a ride to work, a ride to fucking class. So that day he asked me for a ride to class. We go. He sits way up in the front. I'm like, idiot. So I sit, because I sit way in the back. Last row, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
In the fucking corner if I can,
teacher.
right? And fucking, so the teacher goes through every single person one by one. Did you listen to music on the way to class? And if so, what was it? So he was in my fucking car, right? And then we're listening to whatever the fuck I want to listen to. And that day it was fucking Hate Crew Death Roll.
Oh, very nice.
And
it's a great album.
Yeah. And he's way in the front. So the teacher gets to him and he goes, I got a ride. I don't know. He turns around to me and I just kind of like smile and I go, Children of Bodom. And he goes, Children of Bodom. And he goes, what album? And I was like, Hate Crew Death Roll. And the guy next to me goes, oh, that's a fucking great album. It was Sisto, the lead singer
from Medica.
of Medica.
Huh.
And so, and then as it turned out, he had the next class with me. And the next class, band management, was taught by a guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken, his name was actually Michael Douglas. But he was the drummer of... He was the drummer of a band from Lansing that had actually opened up for Kiss in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was like maybe the Verve Pipe?
Wait, the Verve Pipe?
Or something. I don't
really?
know. Or,
no.
I'm sorry. The teacher was a drummer of a band that opened for Kiss. He had some members of Verve Pipe come in and talk to us one day.
Oh,
that was
okay.
it.
I was like, I know
So
they're
they-
from Michigan, but
Oh, they're from fucking. I think from Lansing. Like
they are. From
So
Lansing,
there's
yep.
some fucking, and they've fucking.
They actually just had a show in
Yes.
Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Saw that.
Yeah. What was their big song? Like something about high school.
No, as a freshman.
Freshman. That's it. Yeah,
and
yeah.
the only reason I know this is I was listening to Free Beer and Hot Wings. They actually had the singer on like last week.
No shit.
And they were talking to him about all this, and that's how I just know all this stupid trivia shit that you're asking right now. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. That's
such
that
a
was
fucking
incredible,
weird
actually. I'm glad you had that.
weird
That's
tie-in, yeah.
No, yeah, but that's another example of a fucking big one from right here in the middle
Yeah.
of Michigan. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking.
No, and
Yeah.
if you go back too, there was a lot of like really good bands from Lansing area. Actually, Jim from Seton area has been posting like a lot of like old shit from Production Gray. He posted some Production Gray stuff. I don't know if you ever jammed it before.
I've
but
never heard that.
very good.
He is
Very good. Check him out.
Just wealth of local band knowledge. He's been in the
Who
scene
is
for
he?
a long time.
Jim Albrecht.
Jim Albrecht.
From-
Albrecht.
Centenary.
Centenary.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was in Genocide. I don't know if you
Okay.
ever jammed
Yes.
him before, but he was in Genocide, and he was like in a lot of
I
bands
mean,
before him.
So Matt,
Yeah.
for the guitar player, I work with him.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
can
I
talk to
forgot
him
that you got
too.
him.
I mean,
Oh shit! Hell yeah.
Jim knows a lot about this.
Yeah,
about the scene,
if
like,
I
years and years.
I feel like if you got Sean Peters and
Yeah.
Josh in here together,
Yes.
they would be able to tell you the greatest fucking stories ever just by being in the van with Josh for like a month straight.
Even that
Dude's done so much. Yeah, even that Kentucky
show we played down at Ali's skate park. Which
Yeah,
was fucking weird.
it was cool.
It was cool, but it was weird.
It was
And,
weird.
No, Josh, you want again a wealth of knowledge because he's been around.
He's
been doing this for 30
I couldn't
fucking
believe
years.
you guys when you guys told me. Yeah, I didn't know he was that much older.
Oh yeah,
Like
Oh,
that's
shit.
fucking
dude's
insane.
been jamming in bands since '98.
Yeah.
Well, that's when he
And-
joined Summon actually, but he was in bands before Summon.
I was 3.
And, yeah,
Before.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I watched you guys had I don't know. I can't remember who did it. If you guys know, shout them out. Shout out to them. The guys that did the interview with you outside of Mac's Bar.
Oh, that was Mosh Pit Nation.
Mosh Pit Nation.
that was
Shout
Rick,
the fuck.
that was Rick Jackson. That
Rick-
did that.
Great
Rick
interview.
is the fucking dude.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome set. I absolutely love watching that video.
It was so much
I've watched
fun.
it like 3 or 4 times, honestly,
watched
because I
it
love
more
it
than
so
I
much.
have.
But like
Yeah.
watching it, I was like, Mike's gonna be the hard one.
Josh.
Or Josh,
Josh,
yes,
yeah.
sorry, the drummer, yes.
Yes.
I was like, he's gonna be the
He's
one.
not crazy about interviews.
Yeah,
No,
I can
yeah,
tell
he's-
that
yeah.
off the
Yeah.
bat.
Tad,
But
I play
was
with
like-
myself.
I was like,
Tad.
maybe if we're just like, if it's something like this, there's no cameras,
Right.
No.
You know
well,
what I mean? It's like,
Dude, he could talk your ear off. Your podcast would go for about 6 hours.
I would love that.
We've had a interview that had Josh in it, like during 6 Prong days, and he doesn't like really talk a lot unless if like he's talking to kind of first, and then like once he's like just talking more, then he'll just go on.
So maybe
and
I
on
need
with it.
him one-on-one.
Well, I mean, I'd
Get him a couple beers.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
give him
yeah.
a couple Bud Lights,
Yeah.
and he'll be all set.
Or
All
a
right.
wire and
But-
hide it.
Hey,
But
I'm good with that.
yeah,
That's fine.
I mean, if you invite us out here again, I mean, he lives like 5 minutes from me, so
Okay.
we
Oh,
both
yeah.
live in Hastings, so we'd probably just catch a ride with each other. And
But yeah, no, that
so that might be a way to coax him over here.
That'd
He
be-
has some great stories.
I had no idea that he was like that much older than everybody.
Yeah.
And stuff. That's awesome.
He's
like,
done.
and he has that much experience.
Yeah, he's
Like,
done
that's-
touring in Europe and South America. Played in the Philippines. Played in he did U.S. tours, a lot with Summon and all that. So he got drum offers from Morbid Angel when he was 16. He tried out for the Black Dahlia Murder after the Miasma album, so it was before Nocturnal. He actually jammed in the fuck is his name? Not Ryan. It was Matt, the other guitarist before Ryan came, like Ryan Knight, the dude with the lip ring. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It was
yes,
his
yes.
mom's house that they, I guess, practiced in, from what Josh told me, and so he tried out there with them, and he was gonna get it, but then Shannon Lucas came in and was like, "Yeah, I'll drum for you guys. It's cool." So, but yeah, he. Wow. Crazy shit.
He'll like go into detail about
That's
This is
So-
just like
Yeah.
a quick, like, oh yeah, this
Yeah, I mean, his is probably more accurate than I am. I don't know whose house it was. I don't know, whatever. But
yeah.
yeah, it was crazy time, man. He has a lot of stories about just the local scene in general. He has a lot of old albums from a lot of like the local bands from around Lansing area.
He's got old demos of famous bands. He's got a
Oh, yeah.
demo on cassette.
Yeah, the Pen Pal demo
Yeah.
and shit. Of
He's
man.
got some stuff that
Oh,
is worth
shit.
some money, and he will never sell.
He
Good.
he played.
Yeah.
Damn right.
He played with Origin in '98 at the Milwaukee Death Fest, and so he has like one of Origin's like first cassettes that they were put out of the first album
That's
before
insane.
John Longstrom was in it.
That's insane.
So, because at that time John was an Angel Corpse, and so he had to learn all these fucking drum things from this dude that nobody's heard of, but he
Right.
like invented half the
When
shit that
we-
you hear nowadays.
Right.
When we
insane.
played for Hate Eternal, John Longstrom was playing drums for Hate Eternal.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember I was up on up on the corner of the stage playing. I looked down and John Longstrom is looking at Josh in awe.
Well, they go back.
They
too.
know each other
They've-
very well.
Yeah, they've known each other for quite a while.
And he's
now,
sitting there
so,
and he's going, just like hands raised, going, "What the fuck?" Like,
yeah.
yeah. The drummer of Origin was going, "Holy shit!"
That's
Josh is the dude.
fucking insane.
Yeah, he has a lot of stories. So
We need to get him out here.
yeah, we'll totally get him over
Yeah.
here sometime.
That would be amazing.
Bring
Yeah,
that would
he-
be
Mike's supposed to
amazing.
get all of Recorruptor
Yeah,
at
he
once.
has.
Hey,
He has
dude,
some
yeah, I'm gonna need a new mixer because I only got 4 ports in this.
shit.
I think I've got a
Go with
spare one.
some-
I'll just like plug it in
Yeah,
the side. You know,
fucking
but-
whatever it takes.
Yeah,
I
man.
will fucking.
I would definitely recommend have him coming in because I mean, he just goes off about all this history and all this shit that he's done and great stories too, man. Like
those are things that need, in my opinion, those are fucking. That's documentation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That's shit that needs to be recorded.
and like when him and Sean
Yes.
Peters get together and just talk, like some of the stories that they share is the fucking funniest thing you'll ever hear from their fucking
Sean's
days
fucking
in
awesome.
Summon. It's insane.
Oh my
Sean
god,
is
So-
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's something. You know, there's. I feel like, because honestly, all right. So like one of the fucking, there was a point in time where, when I was like discovering podcasts and stuff like that, I was looking for metal podcasts. You know what I mean? I wanted to hear from like metal bands and stuff like that, but
Right.
not just necessarily the metal bands I love. I just wanted to hear metal podcasts in general. And I like, this isn't even like a fucking brag or anything, but like the first ever hashtag Michigan Metal podcast on Instagram was us.
Hell yeah.
Like we were, I was like,
How's
are you
bragging
serious?
Yeah.
going?
Like, I mean, like that, you know what I mean? But I was like that's something as a fan I would search out.
Oh, it's gonna be proud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It really
So
is.
what platforms are you on? Because I only hear you guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're iTunes.
iTunes,
We're
okay.
on there, and to be honest, outside of that, look, this is fucking very much DIY till you die. And
No, I
there's-
get it. Yeah.
There's
Hey.
a lot that we're still learning.
Right.
And so, like, when it comes to podcasts, a little bit of the technical side, you have a host which provides you with an RSS feed, and
Right.
you put that RSS feed everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Our host is real weird. Like, I can't upload directly to the host.
Okay.
I can only upload
Okay.
to YouTube, and YouTube uploads to everything else somehow.
That's interesting.
So
That's really weird.
I know we're on other platforms because people tell me
I looked
they
up,
listen.
I looked up you guys on
just see
Spotify, and I
YouTube,
wasn't able
yeah.
to see it.
I
at
don't
all,
think we're
so-
on Spotify because I think you have to
Okay.
pay to be on
do.
Spotify. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. We
That's
pay
a big
nothing.
fucking
Yeah.
bummer, man.
Yeah,
That
we
sucks.
pay nothing. So,
that's not
but
good.
I know we're on
Guess I'll
like
have to
other
get iTunes.
free podcast platforms,
Right.
that are for Android
Probably
and
like
iTunes.
like indie streaming sites, that kind of thing. Like
yeah,
small.
well, like there's like there's something like I think just called there's like an app just called Podcast or something.
Oh.
I don't know. My sister has it. She tells me
Right.
that's how she
I'll-
listens to it, stuff like that.
I'll look it up
Totally
because
see
I wouldn't
what-
mind listening to you guys' podcast. The reason I don't is because I don't Like I do every once in a while, but I don't like at work because I would have to keep my phone on order.
Open. Exactly.
Yeah,
if it's just on iTunes, or YouTube, that's fucking annoying as shit.
So like whenever I see post shit. Yeah, whenever I see post shit, I'm like, man, I want to listen to that.
I post the YouTube link, but it's also, I know it's available on iTunes and some other free podcasting hosting services.
I'll definitely look up some app for that because I've been wanting to listen to more of you guys' shit. Just haven't had the chance to.
There's the one with Recorruptor is pretty fucking awesome.
I haven't
listened to that one yet.
Like I was telling you at the show a couple weeks ago.
You were listening to it on the way to the show.
I was listening to it on the way to go see Mastodon at Freedom Hill.
Shit.
I was listening to my band members
talking shit about you.
On the way to go see fucking Mastodon. That was fun. So my fiance and I were just laughing our asses off.
That's awesome.
Because I don't know, Clint just always kills me. Clint has such a personality. I love that. You get a mic in front of that man, and that is his home. I love that. I love that. And Dustin had some good lines. That was a fun podcast. Was like, I made Shart listen to the whole. That was like 4 hours long. Like,
that was a long one.
This one might be too. And
I gotta go to work tomorrow.
So do I. Yeah, no, that one was fun. On the way to and back, I was just laughing my ass off, just like anticipating what you guys were gonna say. No, it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Dude, it blows my mind. Like there's some shit that fucking really gets me. Like every once in a while, like an actual like Thy Art is Murder. I think liked our post about the fucking episode we did about the cannibal show and the Thy Art show, and like I went to see some comedians a couple weeks ago, Joey Coco Diaz and Dean Dowray.
Oh yeah, yep.
You ever heard of Dean Dowray?
Mm-hmm.
He has a great podcast called Let There Be Talk, and he has interviewed everyone that I've always wanted to hear on a podcast and never heard. People like JJ French from Twisted Sister, Sebastian Bach,
wow. Cool.
Fucking like Scott. I was literally listening to Scotty Ian from Anthrax earlier today.
I love Scotty.
Like fucking
awesome.
some of the
that's cool
greatest podcast episodes I've ever heard in my life. And like I was just like, letting everybody know, hey, I'm going to the show tonight. And Dean Dowray was like sharing our shit. I was like,
awesome.
and then just yesterday, actually, my cousin. Because I don't get, like, on my phone, I don't get notified whenever we get, like, a comment or anything on YouTube, so I don't usually see any of that. Right. I only really get it from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, so when Aaron and I were at the Cannibal Show, there were these, like, 2 kids in the pit. Like, the pit at that Cannibal Show at St. Andrews, 2 weeks ago now, was like one of the most everybody in there was a professional.
Right.
A professional fucking pit. No one was throwing a fucking elbow. There was
Beautiful.
no elbows to be seen.
The way it should
and
be.
then like people were helping each other crowd surf. If someone needed to tie a shoe or fell down, like people were immediate. Like it's rare you see it. Like it's always you see it good, but it's rare you see it that on fucking point.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Cool, man.
It was insane. So, but there were these 2 fucking kids, in between probably like 12 and 15.
Oh boy.
In that pit, and every time I looked at them, I
got
saw
tossed the fuck around.
Oh no, dude,
No.
they ran that shit.
No shit.
They ran that
That's
shit,
awesome.
dude. They were
Very
incredible.
cool. Very
And
cool.
every time I looked at them, all I could see was like a younger version of me and my cousin, and like I was like, they're gonna remember this forever. That. I fuck with you not yesterday. Like, and like usually I bring stickers to shows if I, hand out to somebody or whatever. I didn't at all at that show. The fucking one of those 2 kids, my cousin sent me a screenshot of a comment yesterday and was like, hey, I was one of those kids in the pit and my buddy was the other one on YouTube. And my cousin was like, what's this about? And I was like, you gotta be because my cousin hadn't heard the episode yet. It was with Aaron. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They found us?
That's cool, man.
Blew me away.
Yeah, it's good to know,
Blew me away.
The accessibility, the fact that it's out there.
You don't fucking really think about it.
No.
Especially when you're doing it, like right now.
Like with Blood Moon, we have it on a ton of services, and I had
even on some Russian torrent sites too.
Exactly.
We have like 200 illegal Russian downloads, and I couldn't be happier.
That's amazing.
Like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
I do
had
wish we
people
had some money from that.
That
but,
dude from
whatever.
Finland.
Oh yeah,
The guy-
that's right.
There's
yeah,
a dude from Finland that
like
knows.
this.
Was it youth on Facebook? Anyway, I don't know who the fuck it was,
I don't remember.
but he goes, and it was in the most broken English. Your album is great. I will play this very much.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. You know, that's cool as fuck. We're just some dudes that made an album independently.
Yeah.
Like,
And
the fact that
with the Blood Moon release too, I mean, like I made my first ever package to send to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
We sent a couple
I was
worldwide.
like, I don't fucking know.
That's
What's your address? That's really long. I don't think that's real. But you paid for the postage, so I mean, I guess it's real enough.
And it's just cool the fact that, you know, like on Facebook you can see like people adding in stuff. And,
Yes.
You know, you can backtrace that to these people are foreign.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Just knowing that you have something out there to go, this is what I do. You have something to present
Yeah.
to the masses. It's mind blowing. You know, it's crazy.
It's not that cool.
It's rare though that you do something where a mirror is held up to you.
Right. Right.
And anytime you put something out there, that's exactly what you're doing. Is you're holding up a mirror to yourself to see how people react. You know what I mean? In a sense, and fucking at least through other people's eyes. And when you get that positive reaction from anyone at all, like honestly, my favorite comment we've ever got was. I can't remember if it was. There's 2 videos where Aaron and I did in a car. Because that was my like I was like I love the conversations we have on the way home from concerts and stuff. So what if we tried it in a car? And we wanted to like listen to an album and review it. And the best way to listen to an album, in my opinion, is on loudspeakers in a car.
Definitely.
So like listen to the tracks, talk about it in between, and then just cut out the tracks and put that video up. We did one with the new Dee Snider album, which was produced by Jamie Josta with
really?
basically the members of Kingdom of Sorrow. It was if you haven't heard it, it's called For the Love of Metal. If you like Twisted Sister at all or his voice, it's a fucking straightforward metal album. It's incredible. Came out last year. And then we did one of a review for one of the Michigan Metal Fests. I can't remember which one it was, but someone commented on one of those where it says, "This video reeks like weed." I was like, that's the best comment ever.
That is the most Michigan comment ever.
It was so great. I was like,
That's
we're in
awesome.
a car. We're not smoking at all. But it was awesome. I loved it so much. But yeah, it's like it's so weird. It's such a weird thing, but like it's so cool too.
It's this mix of like you feel it's humbling, but
Yes.
it's also this alien feeling.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
I went to go see Slayer, Napalm Death, Lamb of God, and Van Halen.
Braggadocio. Wow, look at you.
Well, no, and
So
I was
fucking
like,
cool.
I was walking to the, I was walking to the drink stand, and I had a guy go, "Hey, wait!" I turned around. He goes, "You're in Recorruptor."
Look,
Cool,
no, sorry,
thanks,
Oh
man.
my
sorry, wrong
God.
guy. Sorry.
That would fuck me up. If I was
people do
at a
that.
concert and someone was like, "Hey, you're on Lost to
You're that guy.
I'd be like,
Yeah,
"All right,
that'd be
I'm
even
done.
more
I don't
surprise
need to
for
keep-"
you, since like
Yeah.
people would only know you from your voice.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like I'd be like, I'm done. I don't need to keep going.
Leave the venue right then and there.
Like that's
But-
it. That's holy shit. Like that's
Yeah.
there's one guy though I actually like that I know from YouTube who's like a metal like he's a metal guy, but he's a big guy and he has real long curly hair and a clean shaven face. And he's from Canada, and he like just talks about like gear.
Okay.
Usually, I can't remember his fucking channel's name, but my cousin and I saw him at a Priest concert once.
Oh, that's cool.
He was like, "Oh, that's that guy." I was like, "No shit." That tripped me out because it was right in Detroit, so he just came across from Canada. It was a Priest Deep Purple concert, I think last year.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I wanted to go to that.
There you go.
What's up, beard man? That's awesome.
Very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I wish I had a beard. I just got shit. Fuck off, Alex.
Jealous.
So,
But yeah, it's so fucking, especially when you guys obviously like I record this podcast mainly just to capture cool conversations
Right.
between me and my friends. You guys make music probably mostly just for yourselves. You make what you think sounds cool.
yeah,
So,
we were really seeing what would appeal to like the Gen Z audience lately. So,
I mean,
yeah.
There's Recorruptor album number 2 has a lot of K-pop.
Yeah. We saw that
PC stuff.
We
real
really
PC.
dumbed it down for this one.
No violence.
It's really
There's
good.
no guitars at all. It's all pre-processed.
Yeah, Clint auto-tuned his
Jesus
voice.
Christ. Oh my god.
It's a lot of weird.
Oh my God.
Notes, but it's really good. It's really good. Though.
Yeah, but you make it when you do something kind of more or less for yourself, and then you still get a positive response from the public. It's just it's mind blowing.
You know, I think very much, and I have
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a little hand in the writing process. Just because I know they've had like Seth and Dustin, and those guys have had riffs for a while. They could finally, from the Blood Moon stuff, we had that set aside, and then the new stuff that they wrote. I have very little hand in writing, but it's very, it's very for yourself kind of thing. And, you take in a lot, and then are you rubbing your goatee?
Fucking just talk, please. Just talk
to the beard.
It's an ASMR stream now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very, right for yourself, and the fact that, it comes out sounded pretty cool and people like something.
Sounds pretty cool.
It's cool.
People like it.
Yeah, I mean, at both your show, some of your shows, and Bogwraith shows, I think actually both at Max, I have heard people not even talking to you guys, just like talking amongst themselves, like people that I assume are complete strangers to both you and Bogwraith are like, yeah, no, I'm just here for Bogwraith, or yeah, no, I'm just here for Recorruptor.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I'm just overhearing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just overhearing that in the crowd, and I'm like, son of a fucking bitch,
Right.
that's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, God, that's another level.
No, that is a nice thing. It's especially nice, like when we did the Cannibal Corpse show, that like we saw quite a few people wearing like our shirts, and I'm like, I was like, y'all stupid, you should wear some cannibal shit. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Like, we all are, but
Like, that's stupid. What the fuck are you doing? Whatever.
Representing, baby. Come on, Lansing
No,
strong.
That's good. That's good though. That was cool.
Yes, it's fucking amazing.
So when we wrap this up, are you going? Sorry, are you? Sorry, this shit's stupid. Are you going to ask us to interview you?
Oh no.
Okay, because this leads into a story. I was just curious because I didn't think anybody else did this except this guy with Six Prong had a radio interview. It was an online radio thing. And at the end of it was live, like everybody could hear it.
Okay.
It was all live shit online, and so like we shared the links or whatever. We're like, hey, check this shit out. So like a lot of my friends were listening, and like what a couple of our fans were. It's probably the most views this guy's radio station streams, whatever it's got. So not to be insulting, I'm sure he was a nice guy. But God, he was a strange guy. At the end of the interview, he's like, now this is something I do with all my bands. I want you guys to interview me. And boy, did that break open the floodgates to my friends live texting me, like, ask him this, ask him this, ask him this. And so we went on to be like, if you could be any monster truck, which one would you be?
Yes.
Just super irrelevant questions to anything
Which
you
Power
did.
Ranger do you think you are?
It's like, would you prefer anal beads or straight up finger?
Yes.
And it went on for a while, and then I think he kind of caught wind of it. Because I was looking at my phone the whole time and like just looking up is like, oh man, yeah, this guy was something else, and
yeah, that's a risk.
Yeah,
that's a risky move.
Boy,
that's a risky.
He sure
move.
got that one.
Yeah,
but I think that kind of stemmed from he went on like he wasn't awful about interviewing, but he wasn't great, because some of the time he would totally ignore what we were doing and talk about him some, which that's fine. That's totally cool. But when he would go on these rants saying that like, oh yeah, people mistake me for Jeff Hanneman all the time. And let me tell you something. All right, let me tell you something real quick. He did not look like Jeff Hanneman.
Ooh.
This dude was bald.
Wait.
Yeah, I know.
Number one error.
He was bald. He was I mean, he might have been about as tall as Jeff Henneman, and he was really fat.
Well, you know, people mistake me all the time for Scott Ian, so...
Oh, yeah, you know, I get it, dude. Yeah, so...
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
Oh, my God, yeah, and...
A bald guy says I look like Jeff Hanneman.
Yeah, it's just... God. What? God damn it, dude. I haven't thought about this in years. Holy shit. But like when you
I want to find this interview.
he is from Lansing. He's from Lansing
shit.
too. Yeah.
All right.
He was, I think, like South Side areas, and he was like in just these apartments. Yeah, I'm going to try to find it somewhere, and I will send it to you.
Hell yeah.
Cause holy shit.
No.
Dude, that was the funniest goddamn thing ever. But yeah, he would go on and say that he looked like, the first time he said, like, you know, a lot of people compare me to looking like Jeff Henneman, you know, from Slayer. It's like, yeah, we know who fucking Slayer is. Thanks for clarifying. But we looked at him though, and we're like, and then in the van, our bassist Chad was like, I don't know about Jeff Hanneman, but he might have looked like his thumb.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, that was the funniest shit. Like, as soon as we got in the van, Chad looked back and was like, I don't know about Jeff Hanneman, it probably was his thumb. Oh man,
Destroyed him.
Kind of looked like a thumb. So yeah, it was really. Oh my god, dude, that killed me. But when
That's insane.
Yeah, when he asked us about interviewing him, man, we were just like, we don't come prepared to ask people questions. Like, we'll ask you the generics of like, you know, what do you know, is this what you do? You know, do you enjoy it? And
Right.
And that's kind of what I think that's kind of what we asked at first a little bit, just like, you know, do you like doing this? He gave us he gave us examples of like stuff to ask him. Is like, you know, like how long I've been doing this and how I got into it.
Supplied you with questions?
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, this is real fucking nice. Yeah, we'll go ahead and ask you these right now. Holy shit, yeah, that guy. And the first impression of him too. God, I was really hoping it wasn't him that was going to interview us. We rolled up in the van, dude. We rolled up in the van, and we saw him. I'm going to have to stand up and show you.
All right.
So, imagine, okay, this was like winter time too. No snow, so it's kind of like the season we're at right now.
Okay.
It's just as cold. Came out, tank top on. He's like probably this tall. Basketball shorts, flip-flops, and probably about like 300 pounds maybe.
Okay. Well, that's why he can stand the cold.
He does not feel.
And he just came out like looking like that, and just big old grin, waiting for our van to pull up to the fucking place, waiting for the van to pull up, just. And the light hit his face in such a way where it kind of gave, like, you know, when you stick a flashlight under your face and kind of gives you a shadow.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit, we're getting into something really weird right now. We're not gonna come out of this apartment by the end of this fucking day. It's gonna be like a weird, like, new Texas Lansing massacre, man. Texas Lansing, yeah, Lansing Chainsaw Massacre. There you go.
Red flag.
Yeah, there are plenty of those. Yeah. So that gave us a great first impression of what was going to happen, and we're like, oh, this is gonna fucking suck.
Yeah. Well,
and it was entertainment.
That is, I do have. I mean, honestly, unless you guys have anything else to go on to right now, I do have a closing question. I do like to ask people.
Do you want us to interview you?
No, absolutely. Because
God,
frankly, well, this is. Actually, no. Before I get to that, there are two things. Because first of all, this is episode 105.
Oh,
so if anybody wants to hear about
fives.
me, you can go back and listen to some fucking other shit.
Okay,
This isn't about me at all.
All right,
but you guys actually worked out magically. Almost had a big announcement today. You had a show announcement.
Pretty
today.
magic, yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me. You got The next 2 shows coming up for Recorruptor are in January.
Oh,
Correct.
sir.
Yep.
We,
it's
Taking the
wigs.
rest of December, all December off.
Yep.
Yeah.
To work
Yeah.
on new shit.
Well,
Work on
Finish it,
properly
Chico.
putting it out.
putting it out, I'd say the
So you're saying it's done?
Yes.
it,
Oh,
I don't know what you're gonna tell
you guys
me.
don't have to. You guys don't have
Well,
to divulge anything you don't want to. Yeah, it could be a secret. I'll talk over you. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of know.
yeah, no, I mean it's been done and mastered for like 3 months.
Yeah.
4 months.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So no, we've had it done for
A while.
now. We're just waiting on the best moment to kind of really present it and say,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanna put it out and advertise it in the best ways that we can,
Correct.
so
Yes.
we can get the best output.
yes.
Well, the best input from our output, really.
yes.
So
I'd say to keep it, what I can say right now is the not fun part of being a band. It's more business right now. than
it's
anything.
a spending money to
It's
make
the-
money part, really.
Yes.
Yep.
We're
But
looking at
it's worth it.
We don't have anything planned, but we're looking at the merch options. We're looking
Mhm.
at best ways to go about
Yeah,
releasing the
for
album.
distribution and all that, and
Right.
see
The
how
logistics kind of
see how that works out. We are, I guess we aren't giving out a whole bunch, but we are going to be shopping to labels and see if
Yeah.
anything picks
Oh,
up.
It's nothing.
And if not, like, we're gonna see how we do independently as well. But
Fuck yeah.
since we know a little bit more from this first release, because like
Right.
I mean, like I've released a couple albums through like Six Prong and like through some old bands, but this was like my first time to like actually do it, really close to just by myself in a sense.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit more experience of how to release it and how to properly
It's
advertise
almost
it. So
the beauty of the fact that we've self-funded everything is it's not like there's anybody pushing us. It's
Right.
we can go
right,
Completely.
except our
So-
fans, they've been pushing
Yeah.
us.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
yeah,
very much yes, no, this will work, this won't work, this
Yeah.
kind of thing. We're
Yeah,
very
we're learning.
yeah, and we're learning as we go. It's
Yeah.
It's not going to take. I mean, we only have one hour
It's-
before that. It's not going to be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
Right. No,
it's
yeah.
a learning process.
Absolutely.
Well,
Any band.
It'll be out early next year though. That's a for sure thing. Through label or independent, we'll see what happens.
Even we're getting impatient.
So-
if that's
I-
Oh,
anything.
dude,
I can't.
I
wait.
wanted it released even before we recorded. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, these demos sound tight. Let's fucking set them out.
The
dude."
demos were pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So and
We recorded most of them.
yeah. But the 2 shows that we got going on
Yes.
are Wags Fest
Woo.
at Max Bar.
Wigs.
Wags.
Wags.
OIGS. It's
yeah.
weird.
OIGS.
Uh-huh.
Oigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was Oigs,
It's
but
Wigs Fest.
Brad that set it up. It's Wigs. It's
Yeah.
Wigs.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
Wigs Fest.
O is a silent W. Whatever. I don't fucking know.
Max
Scripted.
Bar.
Yes,
Yes,
Max
sir.
Bar. What day is that? Do you know
The
day?
11th.
The 11th.
We're,
January.
January 11th.
So I know. I feel like I need to pull it up. I forget the other bands, but
Well,
Iron Mountain's going to be there.
Yeah, Iron
Yes,
Iron
yes.
Mountain's gonna be there.
The
Throne's gonna be there.
grooviest-
I'll look it
From
up.
Blue to Gray is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be there.
Yes, they are.
Oh
So it's a cool mix. There's a band called Locust Point, and they're like
yeah, Locust
they're
Point's
just
really good.
heavy rock.
Yeah,
They,
Locust
they kick ass.
Hordes is going to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like really good bands.
It's a cool mix of like I mean it's kind of centralized in the idea, but it's kind of like the different variations.
Yeah,
of
it's
stuff.
definitely
the
definitely
last couple
varied.
Wigs Fest we've played. We've only played the one, but
I mean, Stonecutters was badass. On the one that
Stonecutters
we
was
played.
fucking sweet.
They were
and then
so
we
cool.
opened for them at a different time for their CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good
It's
show.
it's Oigs Fest
Oigs.
for the return of Oigs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rock and roll bad guys, Recorruptor, From Blue to Gray, Burial Party, Locust Point, MI, Throne, Iron Mountain, Hokori, H-O-K-O-R-I,
Hokerai.
Hokerai.
Hokerai. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Teething, Pan
Oh.
Hordes.
Ooh, teething
Teething
though.
is
Okay,
sweet.
I'm friends with the bassist and like kind of the brainchild of teething. I saw him open up for Jucifer like
Ooh.
years ago at Pyramid Scheme. They're great if you like shit like ISIS or Pelican.
Okay.
So they're very instrumental, but like just
Okay.
super sick. I like them.
And then Grave Moth and Wormfoot.
Those are pretty cool names, actually.
$13 in advance, or $10 in advance. 13 day show. Doors are at 3 p.m. This is gonna be a fucking
banger,
and
dude.
Yeah, then the next week,
Okay.
that's when we have the one that the show announcement from today.
Yeah, we announced that today. We have, if I can
We
pull it
have.
up.
Come on, dude. I have it memorized. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I read now.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, January 17th at the Sanctuary, which has been Max Lange has been such a gracious host to us lately.
Maxwell. He doesn't like to be called
Sorry,
Max.
Maxwell. My apologies.
Sanctuary is a great venue.
It
Fucking
is.
awesome,
It
dude.
is.
The sound there is phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's loud.
Yeah,
that
they
fucker is
really
loud. I
yeah.
love playing there. When we opened for
Aborted.
in the Aborted Hat.
Yeah.
That was our first time there.
Yeah, that was our first time
Yeah,
there was
that
playing
I was
Aborted.
there. Yep. I
Yeah.
saw that show.
With Hideous Divinity, which
Ugh.
Simulacrum is probably my favorite album that just came out.
tight.
Playing there. Dead Nerves.
Dad Nerds.
They're good.
If you know anything about Michigan beatdown hardcore, you know those guys
Yeah,
are just.
They've been
definitely.
at Metal Fest a few times.
Yeah, they've been at Metal Fest.
Twice.
We played
Yeah.
with them at the Pyramid
This is the
Scheme not
first
too
time
long
playing
ago.
with my own will.
Yep.
I'm excited to finally play with those guys. I know.
Yep.
I see their vocalist David is very active on social media. He's always posting about bands and shows.
Yep.
He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah.
Discontent.
Discontent.
Those guys.
Got
So
us-
good.
They got a new logo, so you know it's pretty cool.
I do like the new logo.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Some
It
dicks
definitely-
called Recorruptor.
Yeah, some
Fuck them.
big old buttholes.
Buttholes. And then Green Leaves.
And Green
we've had the
Leaves,
pleasure
and-
of playing with them.
Yep.
And Michael, their vocalist, like he came up to that the Battle Creek show that
Yeah.
Clint hosted, and he's a cool dude. He got up there. He did a guest spot on Dead Nerve stuff.
Yeah, they were pretty cool with us,
Those
and
guys are super cool.
so we're gonna be kind of the odd man out from that whole lineup, but
I'm
whatever.
excited for
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, you guys. I mean,
You guys.
you guys fucking bring it live.
You guys.
So there's no.
Hey, man, we try.
You guys.
Look, I just saw 2 weeks ago. I think I told you that 2 weeks ago or so. I saw Cannibal Corpse. I saw. I mean, you know, it was them and then Thy Art. Okay, basically two headliners, and then another band that I can't remember the name of right now opened for them, and you know they were solid, no question, they were solid, but they did not have anywhere near the energy of Recorruptor opening, especially opening for Cannibal Corpse. I was like, because you guys, I saw open for them last year. I saw them this year, then without you guys opening, and I was like, you know, I noticed a difference.
Yeah, well,
I noticed a difference.
We had a couple people wanting us to open up that Suffocation Belphegor show that happened
Yes.
But
at the
Throne of
Elevation.
Vestigial got it.
Yeah, and
I'm so
I
happy
love
they
both
did.
those
Hats
guys.
off.
I'm so happy
no,
they did.
They're good
So
ones.
I'm
Yep.
glad that they got it for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, like when, because Clint and I went to go see that show in Grand Rapids, and a couple people went up to us and were like, "Man, I thought you were opening up the show." It's like, I
No,
know.
we're just chilling.
Yeah, man, we're just here.
enjoying the
Just-
show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's gonna be one time where we don't fucking have to haul off gear
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the last Wigs Fest Seth, Clint, and I went to, and we were like, this is nice watching it and not having to worry
Yeah.
about set times
Right.
and load in and
Yeah,
It is
just
fun
kind of
sometimes.
get there and chill, not
It is
worry
good to
about
just hang
merch
out.
or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
which luckily, just recently we got a couple people to do merch for us, like as like a permanent thing, which is really
Nice.
cool. Corey Sanders and Kayla Harnell. So
Hell yeah.
They
shout out to y'all. Actually,
out.
actually worked with Kayla at Meyer a long time ago.
No shit.
And then we
and they're
became
more
like
than happy to do it.
we
It's
became
cool
good
to
friends
see.
with those guys, and then they're like, yeah, man, I'll fucking do merch for you guys, and that's like
Fucking-
cool because all of our girlfriends are fucking tired of it. They're fucking
Is
done
she
with
the
it.
one that was at Max last
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That was
okay.
Kayla.
Hell
Yeah, she worked
Hell
in
yeah.
electronics with me. So,
Hell yeah.
but yeah. So Corey and Kayla have really pulled through and helped us out a lot. So yeah,
Honestly, between that and Rowdy, that's how I started out with Medica. So
yeah.
Hey.
Hey man, that's how it goes.
it leads places.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's fun. So, all right. So I will. So those are the next two shows coming. We got an album in the works, done.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the right time.
Sitting around to
Are
age.
we? Are you? are you going? Are there any plans of like at least a single?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
Once we get our release plan ready to go, then a single will be coming out, and we are actually filming a music video December 7th.
Very soon.
So very soon.
Very soon.
That's right, because Clint is actually going to be on here for his album of the year thing on the 8th.
Oh, is he? Oh,
and we
yeah.
were talking about doing it the 7th. He's like, actually, I'm shooting a music video. I was like, oh,
Yep.
sorry, Your Highness.
Excited for the drive.
Yeah, Benton Harbor will kind of suck for the
It's a
drive,
drive.
but
Hey.
it's all right. It'll be close to the studio with the guy that we're working with, which is Steven. He's the one that did our hallucinogenic video.
Is it Steven?
Yep, it's Steven.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
no, his studio is close
I
to
didn't
there.
realize that.
So,
Okay, cool.
so yeah, so we're gonna have
Yeah.
more access to like more equipment and all that, and
All right.
it will be a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
And he was. I know he was excited to do it when we finished hallucinogenic. He was just hyping for days.
Yeah.
He goes, anything else you guys do, let me know. You know,
Yeah.
Fuck
he's
yeah.
a fucking
so
professional.
Fuck yeah.
his price is right for us, and
He kicks ass.
and his production is great.
Mhm.
So I mean, like I loved how the hallucinogenic video came out.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looked
No,
pretty
it's
fucking
fantastic.
professional.
Oh.
So
To Lev and
Yeah,
Sam
yep,
for doing
yep.
that for
I-
us, the
Yep.
actors.
I couldn't believe I was watching a fucking local Lansing band in that video. I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
yeah,
this is
Yeah.
amazing.
No, Steven killed it, and
Yeah.
our actors, friends of ours, Lev and
Yes,
Seth,
yeah.
both were just awesome
Yeah, they
and
were
super
fucking
excited
helped
to
us
do
out
it, and
for sure.
that was cool.
Hell
yeah. So yeah, that's what we
We got a
got.
new video. So that will be probably the first single.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be the first single. Then we got
God, I'm excited.
one more
We've
kind
got
of
one
in the works,
it's
and
still
then
proto planning phase. I
yeah,
guess.
Okay.
and then another one
Yeah.
that's gonna
Okay.
be
So
done,
Recorruptor is here. We're just waiting.
Not dormant though.
No, not at all.
Not
No,
dormant.
dude, next year.
2020 is about to be total fucking chaos.
Next year we have a lot of shit in the works. We're gonna be playing in Detroit a lot. It looks like
Hey.
honestly. So
We're gonna
I
keep
saw
busy.
someone comment on one of your posts talking about wanting to bring you guys to Flint.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want
yeah.
that real bad.
Yeah.
Because I go to a lot of shows in Flint.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably do
and
something
it is a
with,
motherfucker of a crowd. You guys would tear it
Yeah.
the fuck up at the shop.
Something with God.
Isn't Pestilent Age?
Joe and Absorbed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Pestilent
Absorbed.
Age,
Yeah,
yeah.
Pestilent Age. I think
That was
was
only,
the one that
you know,
lost. So
Yeah.
I think at the moment the
sure.
only venue out there is the Machine Shop.
Shop.
For a
Yeah.
minute they had the
they had the Foundry. They had
Well,
the
they
Foundry
also
there for
had-
a quick second.
they had the Buick City Event Center.
That
I
one.
saw, dude. I saw
Yeah.
fucking Soulfly and
wow.
Insight there. It was
yeah.
amazing. It was actually an absolutely incredible venue. Closed after like 6 months. I was like, what the fuck?
Poor
It
management,
was
that's what it was.
great
Right.
though.
Sucks.
It was a really great venue. Bummed me out, but the Machine Shop is if the Machine Shop is one of the best venues because they actually like. Do you follow them on Instagram? You guys-
No, I don't think I do actually.
They-
I follow them on Facebook, and they seem to post quite a bit.
Yes, and that's
So
what
they do-
I
they do
love
openly
about them.
promote.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
so
Nice.
and there's when you go there, all the fucking people you see on their social media, you could just walk right up and talk
Yep.
to them, and they're all super. I've given them all Lost in the Dark stickers,
Yeah.
like they're
Oh,
all
yeah.
super cool. So yeah, that's I would. Oh my god, I would love to see you guys play at the Machine
cool.
Shop.
Yeah,
That would be
that'd be
another
cool.
level.
I'd be down with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what I like to close on is fucking. It's it's all right. So for me, another one of the influences besides just fucking loving heavy metal and stuff being for the show is the only like real radio show I ever really got into was something called. Have you ever heard of Coast to Coast AM? Have you guys ever heard of the show?
No, is it on AM or FM?
AM radio.
Oh wow, look at that.
No.
AM radio.
old-fashioned.
I know
Fucking. Have you ever heard of a guy named Art Bell?
That sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, his name sounds familiar.
All right, so I kind of got into like radio and anything talk like this at all or anything through that. And what Coast to Coast AM is the longest running AM radio show in history. It still goes on today.
That's insane.
And it was started by a guy named Art Bell long time ago. He died actually. He actually died the first year we started this podcast.
Damn.
Like 2 years ago. And it's all like it's basically paranormal talk radio.
Oh,
Okay.
It's about
cool.
paranormal stuff. And when it comes to that stuff, so my buddy out there, Josh and I, we've done a lot, like if you've ever seen like any of the TV shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, things like that, a lot of the places they go, you can pay a ticket price and then they will lock you in there overnight.
Oh, that's cool.
And just let you do whatever you want.
Yep.
So we've done that at a few places, and when it comes to this kind of stuff, paranormal and everything, I love it. However, I'm kind of like it's the sort of thing. It's like I want to believe. I've had some experiences, but I've never had anything that made me go, yes, 100% anything. So I'm just always on the fence about everything, but I love it so much. I love the topic. Right. So I like to ask everybody I get the chance, have you guys ever had any paranormal experiences in your life of any kind at all?
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
What you got?
I don't know, Alex. Do you want my story is a little bit long. It's a little bit. It's
maybe he needs a minute to think.
Do you need a minute to think, or do you just not believe in that shit?
Yeah.
That's fine if you don't believe in it. I'll just kick you out of the band.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Hang on.
Burton's like, hang on a second. Hang on a fucking second.
I've always been on the I'm not one of those like, oh, fuck that. I don't know.
Oh, fuck demon shit.
Well, no, I don't know. It kind of falls back on like not like belief system, but kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It's what you can look at it from different ways. The way I've always kind of seen that kind of thing is I do believe in that there's some kind of like
life force,
like different connection
energy,
rather than just like
life force.
Not even like paranormal, but like
energy,
frequency. But shut the fuck up.
Energy,
like frequency between people. Like how you can read someone's face. You can kind of tell what they're thinking, kind of thing. Yes. I don't know. It's all.
Are you fucking hippie? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know. To get like metaphysical, kind of that kind of thing. I definitely feel like there's some sort of like different connection that most people are willing to kind of think of or look into, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't really know. I don't know where that falls. I've never had an experience myself. I can't. I'm not going to discredit somebody for seeing or believing or that kind of thing. It's never happened to me. I don't really have one way or the other because
fair enough.
You never know till you know, kind of thing.
Exactly. That's kind of where I'm coming at. It's just I just have a particular fascination and wanting for it.
Right.
So
right.
I always kind of look for it. But yeah, in that I'm pretty sure. Definitely on both the Bog Wraith and Recorruptor episodes, I'm pretty sure someone on both of them said, "Yeah, no, I don't really have anything." So there's no worries at all. Right. Yeah, it's not even that. It's more like they just haven't, never really experienced anything. But you're saying you have, Seth.
Yeah, man. Couple.
I mean, growing up in those little Michigan towns.
I know, right? Actually,
small towns.
Yeah.
One of them I'll show you after the show because I have an actual recording on my phone. This was from the Villisca Axe Murderer House down in Iowa. I went down there with a vacation, for a vacation with my fiance and her mom. And dude, Iowa's awesome. By the way, I don't know if you've ever been.
I've never even heard of it.
Iowa, the state.
No, I've heard of Iowa. I've never heard of the Axe Murder House.
Oh. I was like, you never fucking heard of Slipknot? It's from there.
What's that?
Oh,
what the fuck is Iowa?
It's like, you ever heard of that? No, never heard of it. Never heard of Iowa. All right.
Nope.
No, dude. So yeah, it's the story behind. Well, it's like one of those places where you can just pay a fee, and there's no actual tour. You can just go out, walk in it, whatever. You can stay there the whole fucking day if you want to. As soon as they open till they close. You probably could even stay there overnight if you wanted, but probably more. But there's this time where we went there. And I don't want to say I'm like super sensitive to this shit, but my fiance thinks I am because I saw some shit in her fucking old house at one point in time. That was a lot of fun too. It scared the shit out of me. I stood in the bathroom until she came down and got me. Scared me fucking shitless. All right, so
that's another story.
Yeah, we I just took my phone in there or whatever, and then she was asking them just asking questions or whatever, and we were in the
EVP stuff.
Yeah. We were in the kids' room, and they people left candy in their closet in there, and she said something about looks like some people left you some Tootsie Rolls in here, and then in a faint fucking whisper you hear yep.
Damn.
And then you hear me overlap it. It's yeah. It's weird. it fucking, and I didn't even figure it out until like we
listened
we
to it
were in the
later.
car and going back because I had like 4 hours of it that I was like, fuck, got a long drive back to Michigan.
Right.
Can listen to all this shit right now. Scared the shit out of me. That was crazy. But yeah, the story behind that house is like fucking like early 1900s. Family came back from like night church or whatever, and never caught the killer, but what they suspected was it was a traveling salesman that broke into these people's homes, hid him there like at a crawl space area, which you could actually walk into, which is fucking creepy. Killed the whole fucking family.
Huh.
They have the axe there.
That's nuts.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Crazy as shit. Fucking, but yeah, I'll show you that after. It's crazy cool. And then my other story, this one's slightly longer. It's like a slight two-parter. So I've never had sleep paralysis in my life or whatever until that night, which I'm pretty sure was part of this. But so night before, I had this dream that I had some fucking family in Scotland or whatever. I'm Irish. I don't know where the Scottish part came from. Whatever. It's connected to the same shit. So my family were like, well, let's go visit them. You know, that's really cool. I was like, that's very open of you to do. But yeah, sure, let's go ahead and do that. So we went in there, and yeah, it was great. It was really cool. It looked beautiful in my dream. And then somebody related to me was like, all right, there's only one really like real rule about this town is that you don't really go out of the house past midnight or else she will get you. And I was like, the fuck you talking about? I don't believe none of this shit. And so I was like, all right, whatever, fucking weird fucking local folklore shit. And so of course this dream skips along. It's like midnight. I was like, looking around, I was like, man, that's fucking boring here. So I walk out of the house. It looks like slightly like it's light outside, but super foggy. Like think like Silent Hill.
Okay.
Like that kind of look.
All right.
And then I look ahead of me and I see somebody limping along, and you know, me being the good soul that I am, you know, being humble and all that. I was like, ma'am, do you need help? Need help or anything like that? No answer. And I kept on asking, and I was like, then she stops, and I'm like, okay, I guess not. And thinking, I was like, this is fucking weird. Turn around. I turn around to go back to the house, and then she's on the other side. And I was like, no, this isn't gonna be fucking good. Turn around again, on the other side. Turn around more time. She's fucking right next to me, jumps, and like I wake up and fucking remember seeing her fucking face, like all distorted and crazy looking. Fucking shit you not. The next night, I woke up above my body, seeing my body through this woman holding me down that I saw from my dream. And I was like, if I don't get back in my body, I'm going to die right now.
Damn.
So I remember plunging back into my body, and she was holding me by the arms, and I could feel it, and I was like trying to fucking break it and scream. And when I finally let out a breath, I was able to move. I was able to move and shit. Scared the hell out of me. And then this is where shit gets crazy. All right. So
It wasn't crazy enough.
like it wasn't crazy enough. So this is the craziest shit right here. I had a friend at that time, and like I told her the dream, and she's like, was it like this? And this part fucking got me. She sent me Scottish folklore of a wraith. And that's what they do. And a fucking picture looked exactly like the fucking thing I saw.
Dude.
That was in my dream, and that was holding me down.
Dude.
The thing, it was a fucking wraith. Looked exactly, and like the only thing I've seen about a wraith before was the wraiths in Halo. That you fucking drove around.
Right.
I never did any previous research. I had no idea it was part of Scottish folklore, first off. Never knew that shit. Why would I know that? I don't fucking do that shit.
All right. Well, I don't know if this is going to fuck you up even more or not, but the first time besides Canada that I actually ever left this country was earlier this year, and I went to Scotland.
Oh shit.
And one of the things that
I'm actually gonna die
Oh
now.
shit.
and one of the things that weirded me out the most was something that popped up in my head when you were just describing. You said you went outside. It was late, but it was still kind of light out.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Well, while I was there, the sun never fully sets.
Dude, what the fuck?
Like I sent my cousin pictures at 3:00 in the morning, and you could still see sunlight.
Dude.
And if it was foggy, like Silent Hill is exactly what it would look like. Yeah, dude.
I've never been to Scotland before. That's fucking creepy.
That's insane.
Fucking
Like,
creepy,
as soon
dude.
as you said that, I was like, oh, I know. I think I know what he's talking about. Like,
Yeah, no,
it's what it's like.
I
over
wouldn't
there.
have had any goddamn idea of what it would look like at that time of day during that fucking time.
Yeah.
Zero idea. I'll show you what I fucking saw though. I fucking seen the picture and I was like, nope, that's it right there. But yeah, so that was like one of my more like not
That
super
is-
ghosty,
Well,
but in a
there
sense
could be
kind
something
of
going on there.
But it was fucking crazy. Well, and then what's crazier too about this is like she's like, hold on, I have a she never elaborated on this, by the way, so I was like, I don't know what the fuck you mean by this, but she's like, I got a friend, she owes me a favor and I'm gonna talk to her about this.
what the Wraith?
She
The Wraith Rich said this to you?
no
Oh.
my friend told me, like, after I told her like about the dream, and she sent me like all these links and shit like that. She's like, is it this? And I was like, I was like, fuck yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And yeah, so she's like, I got a friend and she owes me a favor and I'm going to talk to her for you. And I'm like, can you elaborate? She's like, I can't really. And I was like, this is fucking weird. She's being fucking weird. But she was never really, you know how some people talk, you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're just fucking blowing smoke up somebody's ass. You know?
Yeah.
She wasn't a person that did that. So when she did that, like when she said that, I was like, I don't like that. What the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, the next night, no problem. Never had a problem like that ever again.
Ever? Yeah, since
Ever
then, you've
again.
never
I
had
have
any kind of
never-
sleep paralysis?
No.
That's interesting.
Fucked me up, son.
If I get haunted because of you, I'm gonna kill you.
Ain't gonna be shit wrong with you.
That's
So
that's
yeah,
a pretty
that was like one of my fucking craziest, weirdest fucking stories I've ever had. Just because of like how it took place in like 2 different nights, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude.
And because there are things that you saw that you shouldn't have even known.
Yeah.
Like
Y-
they connect.
Yeah,
And they came up naturally later in life.
yeah. This
Like
is what
that's super weird.
this is what her face kind of looked like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Nosferatu.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Just more wearing all black.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one of my fucking times. So
I feel like that should be the cover
there's
of
that.
Recorruptor's next EP.
absolutely not.
So it goes. It will happen.
So yeah, there's
It will happen
my
again if that happens.
there's my like little paranormal dealio that
Alright.
I've had happen to me.
That
Oh
is-
no, there's the picture. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely more. Yeah, definitely. It was still like elongated, but like definitely like fucking dead.
Okay.
Dead and ready to fucking suck your soul out.
That's insane.
Yeah, man.
That's insane. I've never had anything like that. That's for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was my time there. So yeah, that's even crazier that you bring that up about Scotland too.
yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah. As soon
Fuck,
as you
dude.
fucking said that, I was like,
Yeah.
huh.
Not once.
Because that was one of the weirdest the experiences I had over there. Was I couldn't sleep. I was like, the sun isn't fucking going down. What is this place?
What kind of fucking weird ass Twilight Zone motherfucker
Yeah,
is
it like
this?
it kind like the sun would like I guess it's if it were set, the very top of the sun was right there at the horizon, and you could still see light. You know what I mean across the
Dude,
bottom
that's
of the sky. You know what I mean?
fucked.
Like, it's fucking weird, but yeah, that's fucking insane.
I told you,
that's
man.
pretty
that
wild
was
one.
Yeah, that was one of the fucking craziest shit that I've had happen to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it happened like probably in like 2013 or some shit.
What's interesting is when I asked Bogwraith that same question, Chase was like, I actually suffer from sleep paralysis. So he's had a
That's
number.
awful.
Yeah, he's
That's
had a
awful.
number of experiences with it, like for a long time.
Sleep paralysis is not where it's at.
I've had it once, and I did not hallucinate or anything like that at all. But I remember like waking up, being fully awake, realizing I couldn't move, getting freaked out, and then like screaming my body awake.
Yeah.
Like you literally just and then whenever you actually wake up, it's not even like you wake up screaming, but it's not even like right away. It's like
yeah. No, you don't.
It's like an air raid siren.
Yeah. And that's the only way that you kind of wake up too, because you could like try to scream as hard as you fucking can.
Yeah.
And you won't.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, dude, it's not fun.
No,
so
no, it is not. It is fucked up.
it's not a good time, man. I didn't have a fun time from that one.
But yeah. So I mean,
so there's that for
shit.
you.
Unless that was incredible. Thank you very much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that. That was fucking insane. I don't. I mean, I've gone to Fort Wayne in Detroit. I've done a couple investigations down there. Down there, the craziest thing I ever saw was I actually saw like a pop can. There was like a table, and imagine if this had a drawer and it was slightly open, and there was a pop can sitting right here. Saw this pop can, not get tipped over into this fucking drawer. I saw this bitch get lifted up and placed into a drawer. It was fucking weird. I saw that once, and I had a witness. So that was crazy.
Like, say I'm not fucking crazy. Look at this.
Right? And fucking, and then there's been a couple, there's this place called the Haunted Mill in Dundee, Michigan. We did
I've
there.
heard about that place.
Yeah,
before,
that place is awesome because it's a museum. So you just get to walk around it's not scary. You know what I mean? You just get to walk, except for the basement. But you get to just like walk around the museum. And have you ever heard of an ovulus? Do you know what that is? It's like a ghost. It's ghost hunting. You know? It's like a ghost hunting thing, and it's like a device you hold, and it sends out a frequency. And the idea is something is supposed to interact with that frequency and be able to put a word. There's like a word bank in the ovulus.
Yeah.
So there was one time where we were upstairs in that old mill. Every single other person on that floor with me was on the other side of the floor. Like it was an open floor, but they were on the other side of it. And I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, all right? So right over next to me, way over on the other side of the floor, there's a piano. And what does Peter Venkman do when he walks into Dana Barrett's place? Remember that? Yeah. So I fucking did that to the piano, and it didn't work. And then I heard the ovulus go off. And then I heard some people mumble like, oh, that was weird. I don't know what that was about. So I was like, what did it say? I said that, like I said real loud. What did that thing say? And they go, it said broken.
Oh, fuck
right
that.
when I was playing the broken fucking piano. I would like the goosebumps I got in that moment were that freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm fucking headed out.
Yeah, that freaked me the fuck out. But then, there was this other time where him and I went to the place called the Randolph Asylum in Indiana. Mm-hmm. And this place is textbook. This is a haunted, abandoned asylum. Paint is fucking peeling off the fucking walls. It's not kept up at all. And we were there during a goddamn thunderstorm.
Oh, there you go. You got everything working for you.
Oh, my God. 101, we're getting murdered by an axe burner. Like, 101. And the entire time we left that place, and the conversation in the car immediately after was, is it just me, or was it, weird how, not ever once nervous or scared I was in that entire, completely flat the whole time. Never saw anything, never experienced any, there was one point in time where we were
They just wanted your money.
We were, we were in the attic. Uh-huh. I could not see the hand in front of my face. All I could see was the occasional lightning coming through the boards in the fucking ceiling, and could hear the wind going. And the entire time I just sat there nothing, never once got nervous. And in that moment I was like, well, now I know I can literally be in the most textbook haunted, scary situation and be I'm only gonna see something if something's there. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not the environment that's gonna fuck with my head or eyes. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. Yeah, man. It's weird. We've also been on the USS Edson, which is
I've heard about
out in Bay City.
Yep.
Oh, that's worth. See, that's the thing.
I heard it's just really cool to go on and check it out.
A lot of these places are worth the price of admission just to be able to free roam on a battleship or Fort Wayne or that Haunted Mill Museum in Dundee. It's worth price of admission alone just to be able to walk around there by yourself for as long as you want, do whatever. Literally on that boat, we could go in and out of every manhole hatch, any single compartment in that ship.
That would be cool, though.
Oh,
man.
dude, it
That'd be
was
sweet to
so
do.
awesome.
Oh, that's
It was so
That's
awesome.
way rad.
Highly recommend it. It still goes on every year. I highly recommend
Fucking
that.
have to do that sometime, then, for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, we got over 2 hours, motherfuckers.
Hey.
Let's fucking wrap this one up. Shit. Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much
man,
for
thanks
being
for having
on.
us out.
Aaron is very sorry he couldn't be here. For
I'm
everyone
still gonna
listening,
yell at him.
you should please
Is this
do.
his mic?
Please, yeah, that one actually.
Oh, okay. I was like, lick that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Actually, probably don't. You might get sick too. I don't know.
But no, he's sick. So, but hopefully we'll be back again next
Oh, yeah.
week and have him on, and everything will go good. But thank you guys so much. This was fucking.
Look good, dude. I
This was outstanding.
like being on here. It's fun.
I'm so glad. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, man.
And for everybody listening, be sure to check us out on fucking Facebook, iTunes, Instagram.
Everything.
But for Recorruptor and Bog Wraith, check them out on Bandcamp. Twitch.
Some Russian torrent sites.
Some Russian torrent sites.
Yeah.
Some fucking back channel Colombian sites. You
Yeah.
never know. You
Yeah,
It
never
might
know.
be
never
legal.
find
It
it.
might not be. That's
Yeah.
the fun.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Metal's not supposed to be legal.
It's supposed to be dangerous.
Share the fuck
we
out of
go.
this
Metal-
podcast.
Yes.
Maybe it's on LimeWire. We don't know.
Jesus. Hell yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Raise your horns, bang your heads. We love you all to death. Good night.
Fucking peace.